A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
Kroger Tenderay Beef. No other beef so fresh can be so tender. Presents Hearts in Harmony, transcribed. K is for Kroger, C is for cut, B is for beef. KCB means Kroger cut beef, and Kroger cut beef means more meat for your money. Yes, Kroger cut beef gives you more meat, less waste. And the reason is this. Before the meat is weighed and priced, the Kroger method of cutting beef removes excess bone, excess waste, and stringy ends. Mind you, that's before the meat is weighed and priced, which means more meat for your money. And it's top U.S. government grades of beef. It's tender, juicy, rich red, and marbled with just the right amount of flavory fat. Yes, in Kroger cut beef, you get a better value in top-grade beef. For example, take a specific cut of beef, say a Kroger cut chuck roast. Before the roast is weighed and priced, the Kroger method of cutting beef removes excess waste and stringy meat. That means you get a better value because you get more solid meat, only a minimum of bone. Yes, you receive more meat, less waste, whether you buy a steak or a roast. So visit your neighborhood Kroger store soon. Make it a rule to get Kroger cut beef. It gives you more meat for your money. And now, Hearts in Harmony. From a neighbor of the late Sam Ansley, Penny Gibbs has learned that when ex-nurse Mabel Peterson was tending the dying man, a strange man visited the house several times a day. She reported this interesting bit of news to her employer, Frank Carter, young Rossville lawyer, and now pays another visit to Mrs. Peterson. She rings the doorbell for a long time before, finally, the door opens.
Hello, Mrs. Peterson.
Oh, Penny. I'm sorry I took so long to answer. I was in the basement.
I was afraid nobody was home. Can I come in?
Oh, sure. Come on in.
Thank you. This time I'll really only stay a minute.
Well, I have only a minute myself. You must think it's sort of odd that I'm busy every time you come to see me.
That's all right. I understand. Everyone has a right to be busy.
How true. And you seem to be extremely busy yourself running around town these days.
Yes, I'm working now.
Oh? Where?
For a lawyer.
Oh, is that so?
Mm-hmm. Mrs. Peterson, maybe I can explain exactly why I've asked you so many questions about the Ainsley case.
Penny, I thought we weren't going to go on that again.
I'd like to if you'll let me. I'll tell you exactly why.
I don't want to know why.
You think I'm trying to accuse you of something, don't you?
I most certainly do not. I just don't like to be asked questions that have no bearing on anything.
Well, the questions I've asked you have a great deal of bearing on the Ainsley case.
Penny, why do you insist on referring to it as a case? Poor Mr. Ainsley died 5 years ago.
And left $10,000 to the Laravel Research Company. And not 1 cent to his wife.
Wasn't it his privilege to leave his money to whomever and whatever he wished?
Mrs. Peterson, there are some people who think Mr. Ainsley was tricked into leaving the will he did.
There are some people who think things they shouldn't. I suppose your lawyer thinks that I forced poor old Mr. Ainsley to cut his wife out of his will.
No, the money didn't go to you, but to this company, this research concern.
Then why bother me about it?
Because I happen to know a man came to Mr. Ainsley's house several times a day when he was dying.
Oh, is that so?
He was seen calling at the house at all hours.
Who saw him?
I can't tell you that, Mrs. Peterson. All I want from you is the name of the person who came to see Mr. Ainsley during his illness.
No one came to see him.
That's not true.
You call me a liar?
No, but I think you're avoiding the truth to protect someone, maybe yourself. Were you threatened? Because if you were, I can help you. I can see that I can help you.
I can see a few things myself, Penny Gibbs. And one of them is you getting out of here. You get out and stay out and don't come back again, ever.
Come in.
Hello. Mr. Keith busy?
Hello. Come in.
Thank you.
Well, how glamorous can you get?
Oh, Johnny Keith, how blind can you be? I'm a mess.
Well, suddenly I like mess. Did Jed send you up with some layouts?
Nope, I'm here on business of my own, Johnny. Or, I suppose maybe I should say I'd like to ask a favor.
Well, Penny, you know there's nothing I wouldn't do for you, including jumping in the river.
No, I won't ask you to do that. But I will ask you to use your influence with the police to help me do something.
Oh, well, Young lady, what do you want me to do? Beat a murder rap?
No, you idiot. But you can get police help for me, though, can't you?
Police help?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I wasn't a policeman for nothing, Penny. Now, wait a minute. Are you in trouble?
Me?
Yeah.
No, I'm not in trouble. What's the matter with you? A problem, that's all. The police can help me with it.
Oh, well, that's better.
You weren't serious.
Yes, for a minute. I was afraid maybe I was right about that lawyer and you were in a jam.
It's just the opposite. I'm trying to get him out of trouble.
Hey, now, wait a minute, Penny. Wait a minute. You just said this favor was for you, not Carter.
If it's for Mr. Carter, it's for me.
Oh, no. I beg your pardon.
Johnny, please listen to me a minute. He has to have police help to get evidence in the Ainsley case.
Yes? Oh. Penny, is he still wasting his time and yours on that stupid thing?
It is not a stupid thing. You don't know anything about it. You don't know anything that we found out.
I know one thing you ought to find out.
What's that?
That Mr. Ainsley wasn't swindled. And you'd better forget about the whole thing.
You're very mistaken about the whole thing. Mr. Ainsley was swindled.
Oh?
In fact, we have everything but final proof.
Uh-huh. And proof is the one thing you'll never get.
I suppose that's right. Unless Mr. Carter can get help from the police. Listen, Johnny, that's the trouble he's having now. The police won't listen to him.
And you know something?
Know what?
I won't listen to you. Not if all you have to talk about is the Ainsley case.
Suppose I convinced you that Mr. Carter already has a lot of evidence. If I did, then would you go to the police and ask them to help?
Well, sure, I guess so, but first, get your evidence.
I already have that evidence.
What?
Okay, listen to me.
Mm-hmm.
First, the company that Mr. Ainsley left his money to ceased to exist 6 months after he died.
Ceased to exist? Well, so what?
So, it could have been a firm in name only. Designed for the sole purpose of swindling old and dying people, couldn't it?
Well, I guess so.
You guess so, but listen to me. I found out from a neighbor of the Ansleys that a strange man came to call on him several times a day the month before he died. And he never once came after he died.
Well, so what?
So I asked Mrs. Peterson, Mr. Ainsley's nurse, who the man was. She denied that anyone had come to see him at any time.
Well,
Well, what?
Well, it certainly is funny.
Funny? Well, don't you see what we've learned?
Well...
Don't you think about it?
Now, wait a minute. Let me think.
Well, all right, go ahead.
Well, you've learned that either Mrs. Peterson is lying or Ainsley's neighbors were saying things, that's all.
Finally catching on. Listen now. Mr. Carter found out the name of the man who headed the research company when it got Mr. Ainsley's money. Got that?
Yeah.
But the man's disappeared.
Oh. Well, with his company, huh?
With his company, huh? He's probably using another name as head of another company doing the same thing. And I'll tell you something in secret. Only you have to promise to keep it a secret.
Well, okay.
Mrs. Peterson used to be a nurse, but she lost her license a long time ago.
Oh, did she?
Yes, she did. Now do you see how the pieces begin to fit? It's very possible that Mrs. Peterson was blackmailed into taking care of Mr. Ainsley by a man named Wilson.
Did I hear you right?
You heard me. Blackmailed is just what I said.
Huh?
That's why Mrs. Peterson would lie about a man coming to see Mr. Ainsley so many times before he died. She was told to be quiet about it, or else.
You know what?
Know what?
You and Carter seem to have more information in the encyclopedia. And it makes sense, too. It does to me, anyhow.
Well, it's all theory so far. We need proof. We have to make Mrs. Peterson try and contact this Mr. Wilson. That's where we need the police.
To do what?
Mr. Carter wants the police to tap Mrs. Peterson's telephone wires.
Oh, now, wait a minute. You think she's foolish enough to talk to him over the phone?
Yes, if she's worried enough, and I've done everything I can to worry her. I've even told her that the will is being reinvestigated. A little while ago, she was so angry and wrought up about it, she ordered me out of the house.
Well, she wouldn't get excited if she wasn't guilty of something, would she?
No, I shouldn't think so. Johnny, can we go to the police and ask them to help Mr. Carter?
Well, I'll do everything I can, Penny. I'll go straight to Captain Harlow. And if he can't do anything, he'll put in a good word for me with the chief. And I'll get to try my luck with him.
Hello?
Hello? Is someone in this number trying to get in touch with Robert Wilson?
Yes, I am.
Well, this is Wilson.
Oh, Mr. Wilson, I was hoping you'd call back. This is Mabel Peterson.
Oh?
Mabel Peterson. You remember me. I took care of Sam Ainsley for you 5 years ago.
Oh, yes, the old man who didn't know what to do with his 10 grand. How are you?
I don't know.
What do you mean?
Mr. Wilson, we may be in trouble.
Makes you think that?
They're investigating Mr. Ainsley's will again.
So what? 5 years ago when the will was contested, the case was thrown out of court. And nobody knows enough to bring it to court again.
There's a young lawyer and a young woman in this town who found out a lot, though.
How much is a lot?
I've been asked a great many questions.
Questions never hurt nobody.
But these people seem to know just what questions to ask. I'm sure they found out about me, and they're on their way to finding out about you.
What have you told them?
Nothing. Nothing that I know of.
What do you mean, nothing you know of?
I mean, I don't think I made any slips. But I'm not sure. I was too frightened. And now I'm scared to death.
I knew I shouldn't have trusted you. Look, if anyone comes near you again, don't say anything but go away. I'll come to Roscoe right away.
Do you think you ought to?
I think I'd better. Before you start shaking so hard you spill the truth all over town. And look, don't phone me again. If anyone's wise to what happened to Ainsley 5 years ago, your phone wires may be tapped.
What does that mean?
That means somebody will be listening in. Probably the police. So if you use your phone, talk innocent. See?
All right. I won't use the phone at all. But please hurry, Mr. Wilson. Get here as soon as you can. I think we're in terrible trouble.
Hello, Penny.
Hello, Johnny. Come on in.
Thanks.
Well, you're all smiles. Good news, hmm?
Best I can bring.
Captain Harlow said yes.
He not only said yes, but he phoned your friend Carter and had a long talk with him about the case. Carter's going to have all the police cooperation he wants.
Oh, good, Johnny. What about tapping Mrs. Peterson's phone wire?
Can do and will. But her wires won't be cut into until tomorrow because Captain Harlow has to send to Wayne City for the instruments and equipment.
Oh, I hope tomorrow's not too late.
No, Penny, I don't think it'll be too late. I'm sure Mrs. Peterson, even if you scared her half out of her wits, will still have enough sense to wait and think it over before she starts talking about secrets over the phone.
Has police help come too late? It's quite obvious that Mabel Peterson and Robert Wilson swindled the late Sam Ainsley. But will Penny Gibbs and Frank Carter ever be able to prove it and recover the destitute widow Ainsley's money? Be sure to listen to the next dramatic episode of Hearts in Harmony. KCB. KCB. KCB means Kroger Cut Beef, and Kroger Cut Beef means more meat for your money. That's right. Kroger Cut Beef gives you more meat, less waste. Because before the meat is weighed and priced, the Kroger method of cutting beef removes excess bone, excess waste, and stringy ends. For example, if porterhouse steak is your favorite, you'll find that at Kroger's you don't pay steak price for stringy ends and waste. The Kroger method of cutting beef removes the long, stringy end and excess waste before the steak is weighed and priced. But see for yourself by visiting your Kroger store. Notice that you get more meat, less waste, and it's top U.S. government grades of beef. Beef that's tender, juicy, rich red, and marbled with just the right amount of flavory fat. Remember, whether you buy a steak or roast, Kroger Cut Beef gives you more meat for your money. Yes, everybody's happy when you go to your neighborhood Kroger store for Kroger Cut Beef. Your family loves the deliciousness, the juicy flavor of Kroger beef. You love the way it cooks up so perfectly. And your pocketbook loves the fact that Kroger Cut Beef gives you more meat for your money. Get some without delay. Make it a rule to get Kroger Cut Beef and get more meat, less waste at your neighborhood Kroger store. Be sure to listen tomorrow, same time, same station, for another absorbing transcribed chapter of Hearts in Harmony.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Dragnet is brought to you by Chesterfield, made by Liggett & Myers, first major tobacco company to give you a complete line of quality cigarettes.
You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to homicide detail. You get a call that a woman has been badly beaten. The circumstances indicate foul play. Your job? Check it out. The nation's top golfers and sports writers have named Ben Hogan Professional Golfer of the Year. Ben, of course, smokes Chesterfields. But let's hear what he has to say about them himself.
I'm a Chesterfield smoker and have been for 7 years. The reason's simple. Chesterfield is the best for me. They're milder, and they taste great. Try them yourself.
Take that suggestion from Ben Hogan today. Try Chesterfield, regular or king size. They're low in nicotine, highest in quality, really mild, really satisfying. Chesterfield, best for you.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Tuesday, November 17th. It was raining in Los Angeles. We were working the night watch out of homicide detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Captain Lorman. My name's Friday. We were on our way back from the main jail, and it was 11:27 p.m. when we got to room 42. Homicide. We got to get that car radio fixed, Joe. It's getting worse all the time. Yeah, well, we can take it over in the morning.
Thing almost knocked me right out of the seat when I called in tonight. As soon as you press the button, bang, you get a shot.
Yeah, well, I was out with Lopi yesterday. He picked up the mic. I thought he was going to climb right out of the window.
Yeah, well, that's pretty funny as long as you don't have to use the thing.
Well, it must be a short someplace, huh?
Got to get it fixed. You know, I must have used $1 worth of dimes calling in today. If this keeps up, I'm going to have to give up lunches.
Well, that wouldn't hurt you either.
That's not kind, Joe. I've lost 7 pounds in the last 2 weeks.
Where?
I'm going to see about a transfer.
Well, let's finish up this report so we can get out of here. What do you say?
Okay, I'm with you.
Hot shot, I get it. That's a robbery call, bar out in Olympic.
Oh, thought for a minute we were going to have to go out. All I want to do is get home and get some dry socks on. My feet are killing me.
Yeah, well, I got an idea. If you'll stop talking and pick up a pencil, we can quit on time for a change. Another hot shot.
I'll get it. Get your hat. Beating out in Hollywood.
Yeah?
Woman found her laying in the gutter.
She's still alive?
Was when they got the call. We better step on it, though. They don't know how long she's going to last.
When we got to the address we'd been given by the complaint board, 2 radio cars from Hollywood Division were already there. An ambulance had arrived, and the crew was doing what they could for the victim. She was still alive, but the attendant said that she appeared to have a skull fracture in addition to possible internal injuries. From one of the officers who answered the call, we found that the victim had been sprawled across the sidewalk, her head in the gutter. Due to the heavy rain, a stream of water was running down and into a storm drain. The fact that the drain was above the victim's head appeared to be the only thing that saved her from drowning. The crime lab had been called, and the men from Hollywood Division were doing what they could to keep the crowd back in order to preserve any physical evidence that might have been left. The victim appeared to be a woman in her early 40s. The clothes she wore looked expensive, but they were badly torn. Her face was cut, and the men in the ambulance crew removed her immediately to Hollywood Emergency Hospital for treatment. An officer was assigned to her in the event she regained consciousness. When she was found, her left shoe was missing, and there was no sign of any purse or wallet. None of the people who'd gathered in the crowd could give us an identification of her. The homes in the vicinity were large, and the area was sparsely populated. The nearest house to the place where the victim was found was at least 300 feet down the street. We talked to the people in the crowd and found that the man who'd made the original call was still supposed to be there. We checked with the officers in the radio unit, but they said they hadn't seen him. From them, however, we found that the call had been from the home of a Mr. and Mrs. Roger Heflin. We contacted them, and they came back to the scene and pointed out the man. Frank and I took him over to our car for questioning.
All right, Johnson, you want to tell us what happened?
I don't know.
You called the police, didn't you?
Yeah, I called them.
You found her?
Yes, sir. She was lying in the street like that. I got scared and I called the police. I thought maybe she was dead.
What were you doing up here this time of night?
Just walking around.
You live up here, do you?
No.
Where do you live?
Got a room down at Fountain.
Let me see your identification, will you, please?
Oh, yeah. Here's my wallet.
Any money in it?
No.
All right, let me have it.
Yeah, here you are.
This your true name? Cecil August Johnson?
Yeah.
Who's Mary Johnson? I say, who's Mary Johnson? Who's she?
My sister.
Is her address here on the card?
Yeah. Hey, you aren't going to call her, are you? You aren't going to call her.
Why?
Well, she'd be pretty sure about it if you did. She don't like it for me to get mixed up with cops. She don't like it at all.
You ever been in an institution? State institution. You ever been in one?
Yeah. I was in Camarillo once.
How long ago did you get out?
Oh, long time ago. 3 days. Long time ago. I haven't been there for a long time.
What were you there for?
Molesting people.
Who?
I was in Camarillo.
Why'd they send you there, fella?
To get well.
From what?
Just well.
Yeah, we know. What'd they want you to get well from?
I was never in Camarillo.
You haven't been drinking tonight, have you? I said you've been drinking.
Yeah, a little bit.
Where?
Bar down Highway Boulevard.
When they sent you to the hospital, what was the reason?
I never been to hospital.
You told us that you'd been in Camarillo.
Well, that was to get well.
Now, look, fella, we asked you before. What for?
They thought I was molesting people.
Were you?
No, I didn't hurt anybody.
Did they say you did?
Yeah.
Who?
A lady, they said I hit her.
Did you hit her?
Huh?
I said, did you hit the woman?
No, I never hurt anybody.
You know who the woman is that you found?
You're going to call my sister, are you?
Do you know who the woman is?
What woman?
Now, look, fella, pay attention. The one you found tonight.
Yeah, I've known her for a long time.
What's her name?
Grace.
You know her last name?
Do you know her last name?
No. You know, I never really been in Camarillo. I just told you that.
That's so? Why?
I don't know. Just sometimes I like to do things like that. I don't have no reason. I just like to do it. Like, once I told my sister I killed a man. She almost fainted. I just like to do that once in a while. Things get dull. I like to get them started.
Where'd you meet Grace?
Bar down in Hollywood. I go in there all the time. I met her there.
Did you meet her there tonight?
Yeah, she was there. Said she had a fight with her old man. Said they had a real beef. She told me he hit her. Belted her right in the mouth. What do you think of a guy do a thing like that to a woman? Any man do a thing like that, he's no good. No good at all. They said I did it, too. Told my sister I hit a woman.
Who said that?
Other cops when they arrested me.
When was this?
When I was at Camarillo to get well.
You under a doctor's care now?
No, I got real well at Camarillo, real well. They let me go.
You just got through telling us that you'd never been there.
I'm a liar. You can't believe anything I say. I'm a real liar. My sister's all the time saying that about me. She says I'm a liar. That's one of the reasons she used to get sore at me. I'm such a liar. I was never there.
You know where this Grace lived?
No, I think it was up on Ledgewood Drive. I think that's where it was, on Ledgewood Drive.
You know where the house is?
I never saw it. I was going to go up there one day and punch your old man in the nose. You know, because he hit Grace. I was plenty sore about it. He gave her a black eye. I was plenty sore. But I didn't. You know why?
You tell us.
Because I thought my sister'd get mad at me. She always gets mad when I get in fights. And when I lie. She get real sore. She's got no sense of humor.
Yeah.
There's a guy at the hospital who had a real sense of humor. He was funny. He had a piece of inner tube and he wore it like a hat. Floppy, you know? He had a real great sense of humor. But my sister, she don't like anybody to laugh.
How many times you been arrested, fella?
Maybe a couple.
Here in Los Angeles?
Yeah. All the time in L.A. Cops here don't like me. They got no sense of humor. None. Never saw such dull cops.
All right, Johnson, you wait here. We've got a few things to check out, and then we want to take you downtown.
You aren't going to arrest me, are you?
We'll see.
Well, I hope not. My sister, she'd be real sore.
Johnson? Tell me something. Did you hit her?
You mean, did I hit Grace? Is that what you mean?
That's what I mean.
No. I met her tonight, and she asked me to take a walk with her. To take a walk, that's all. Then all of a sudden, she was lying on the ground. I was pretty drunk. I didn't know what happened. Just all of a sudden, she was there, and I got scared, and I called the cops. But I didn't hit her. I wouldn't do a thing like that to Grace, not me. You believe that, don't you? Well, don't you? You got to buy it. You got it, because it's the truth.
Is that right?
Sure. It's the truth. Every word.
Well, you said it yourself, didn't you? You're an awful liar. 12:52 a.m. Well, one of the officers from a radio unit stood by with Cecil Johnson. We talked with Lieutenant Lee Jones from the crime lab. He told us that what footprints they'd found in the immediate vicinity of the victim had been destroyed by the rain. He told us that his crew was unable to find any useful physical evidence. The area was searched, but we failed to find either the missing left shoe or the woman's purse, if she'd carried one. We put in a call to the Hollywood Receiving Hospital. Dr. Elwyn Terrell told us that the victim was suffering from a fracture of the skull and apparently several broken ribs. He told us that the woman was in a deep coma and she couldn't be questioned at that time. We asked him to contact us through the business office in the event that she regained consciousness. We questioned the people in the neighborhood, but they were of no aid. None of them recalled hearing any automobiles on the streets, and none of them could testify as to the people loitering in the area. 1:10 a.m. We took Cecil Johnson and had him detained at the city jail pending further investigation. A check of his record showed that he'd been sent to Camarillo twice on charges of molesting in violation of Section 245 PC. He'd been released into the custody of his sister 3 weeks previously. Before he was placed in a cell, we got the name and address of the bar where he said he'd met the woman he called Grace. 1:40 a.m. Frank and I drove out to the place. It was located on Hollywood Boulevard near Las Palmas Avenue. There was only one other customer in the place when we went in. The bartender was cleaning up for the night.
What'll it be?
We're looking for Emil.
I'm him. What do you want? It's not about that lousy Jackie, is it?
What's that?
You're cops, aren't you? Isn't this about Jackie?
We're police officers, yeah.
You gotta understand, I thought he was an actor. You know, I thought he was just hanging around the place to take work calls. That's what he told me. I didn't have no way of knowing different. It's the truth.
We don't know anything about Jackie. We'd like to ask you some questions about a man named Cecil Johnson.
That crackpot? You know, I thought you were after me because of Jackie. Oh, there it goes again. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Hello? Yeah, it is. No, he ain't here anymore. What? I don't care how the horse did. Jackie ain't here. Now, don't call me no more. You see, this guy Jackie's a book. All the time he's using my phone, and I don't know it. Yesterday, a couple of cops come in and put the arm on him. All day, the phone's been ringing.
Yeah.
From what they say, he's lucky he got arrested. He must have lost his shirt yesterday. Horse came in that paid 20 to 1. Boy, he really must have had it.
I see. Now, what do you know about this Cecil Johnson?
A creep. A real creep.
Did you see him tonight?
Yeah, he was in.
About what time?
Let's see, it was just before the fight on TV. That'll make it about 6:45. Yeah, about then, about 6:45.
He come in alone?
Oh, yeah, always does. He don't have no friends.
What time did he leave, do you remember?
Oh, we stayed around and watched the fight. Got into an argument with the guy. Then he left about, let's see. I guess it must have been about 9:30, 9:45.
You know a woman named Grace? We understand she's in here quite a bit.
Grace, huh? Well, we got a couple of Graces come in here. What's yours look like?
About 42, dark hair, wearing a tweed coat.
Excuse me a minute, huh?
Yeah.
Hello? Yeah, it is. No, he's not here. He won't be back, so stop calling. I don't care if it did pay that. Look, Bud, I got no part in the action. Now, forget the number, huh? Jackie's gone. He's in the can. Yeah, he's pinched. Now, lay off, huh? Now, let's see. Dark hair, tweed coat. Oh, yeah, that'll be Grace Dillon.
Dillon?
Yeah, she's pretty much of a regular.
D-I-L-L-O-N.
Yeah, I guess so. D-I-L-L-O-N. I guess that's the way to spell it. Well, what's all the questions? Something wrong?
What time was she in here tonight?
Who says she was?
Well, that's what we understand.
Oh. Oh, yeah, well, there's nothing wrong around here. No reason not to cooperate. She was here, come in about 8.
What time did she leave?
Well, I guess it was 9:30, 9:45.
Did she leave alone?
I gotta think about that.
All right.
Lots of people in here with the fights, you know. Let me think. I'm gonna tear that thing right out of the wall. He ain't here. He's been pinched. I don't know when he'll be back, and I don't care. You know, come to think about it, I think she left with that Cecil.
Johnson?
Yeah.
Did either one of them have much to drink, do you know?
Well, Cecil had a couple of beers. That's all he needs. Don't take much with him.
How about the Dillon woman?
She was feeling no pain when she got here. Really carrying a load. I finally told her to take a walk, told her I couldn't serve her no more. That's when she left. Her and Cecil were sitting right there next to each other. When I told her I wouldn't pour no more for her, she got hacked and her and Cecil left.
You know where she lives?
Not right off. I can look it up. We keep a list of people who come in here. Send them announcements about things, like when we get a new piano player, things like that.
I see.
I can look it up for you. Just take a minute.
Fine, thanks.
C, A, B, C. Oh, here it is. Darby, Dexter, Dibbs. I wished he'd come in and pick up the tab again. Oh, let's see. Yeah, here it is. 2917 Ledgewood Drive.
2917. Thank you.
You can take the card if you want. Don't make any difference to me if she never comes back. The way she carried on tonight. People just don't understand.
What's that?
You can just serve them so much. After that, you're pouring 100-proof trouble. You got to shut them off sometime.
Uh-huh. She ever come in here with her husband?
Dylan?
Yeah.
A couple of times. Quite a while ago, though. They came in late one night, sat back there in the booth, had a couple of quick belts. He drinks Irish whiskey, likes it neat. They had a big beef. I finally had to go back and ask him to go out. He's a real bum. He's mean.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The kind of guy where to know him is to hate him. You know the kind?
Yeah.
He ain't here. I don't care how much you lost. He's in the can. What? Oh, yeah, honey. Well, I didn't know it was you. Uh-huh. Yeah, I'll be home early as soon as I close up. Right. Yeah, well, I do, too. What? All right, honey. I love you. I do, too, mean it. Look, honey, there's a couple of men here I got to talk to, huh? But, yeah, as soon as I close up, yeah. Goodbye, honey. What? Oh, yeah, all right. There, bye.
It's the wife. We've just been married a couple of weeks. She's kind of, you know.
Yeah. Did Dillon ever hit his wife, would you know?
Yeah, he did. She came in here one night with a mouse that had no end. Said her old man gave it to her. Say, what's all this about anyway? There's something wrong with Grace? Something happened to her?
Well, we don't know yet.
Well, let me give you this for free. If there's anything happened to her, 6 to 1 even was her old man. It's a real bum. He's mean. Anything wrong, and it's him that caused it. You better talk to him. You'll find out.
All right, sir. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir, we will. Thanks.
No, not at all. Glad to help out.
All right. Good night.
Say, you guys going downtown?
Yeah, that's right.
To the jail?
Yeah.
Well, if you see Jackie, will you give him a message for me?
All right. What's that?
Tell him if he gets out, I don't want him back here no more.
Okay.
Guy ties up my phone.
2:26 a.m. We got a description of the victim's husband and checked the name through R&I. We were unable to come up with any criminal record on him. Frank and I drove out to the address given us by the bartender. It was a large English stucco house 5 blocks from where Grace Dillon had been found. We rang the bell and waited. An elderly woman answered the door and told us that Herman Dillon was not in. She explained that she was a babysitter and that she'd been called to take care of the couple's 3 children. She went on to say that Mr. Dillon had left the house at approximately 10:15 p.m. and had not yet returned. We called the office and arranged for a stakeout to be set up on the house. While we waited for the officers to arrive, the babysitter told us that the Dillons had constant fights. She said that on several occasions Mr. Dillon had threatened to kill his wife if she didn't spend more time at home taking care of the children. She went on to explain that there'd been an argument that evening, and that after a loud fight, the wife had left the house. After she'd been gone for over an hour, Herman Dillon left to find her. 3:02 a.m. The officers arrived. We asked them to wait for the husband to return and then to notify us immediately. Frank and I drove downtown and checked into the crime lab. We talked with Lieutenant Lee Jones regarding his findings. He told us that he'd gone over the victim's clothing, but he was unable to find any physical evidence to help us in finding her assailant. 3:46 a.m. We checked into the office and put in a call to the hospital.
How do you spell that, Doc? Huh? Yeah. A-D-E. Yes, sir. Well, do you have any idea when that might be? I see, sir. Mm-hmm. Well, if you'll let us know. Right. Yeah, the business office here will know how to reach us. Right. Thanks again. Good night, Doc.
How is she?
Well, the doctor says he's finished his examination. She's got a frontal bone fracture, 3 broken ribs, cuts, and contusions.
She going to be all right?
Yeah, you think so. Says she might come out of it any time. Says it looks like she might have been thrown from a car.
Well, that'd explain the missing shoe and purse, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
You have any idea when we can talk to her?
No, might not do any good anyway.
What do you mean?
Well, the doc says this kind of fracture can produce a retrograde amnesia.
Huh?
She won't remember anything.
You are listening to Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action.
It's taking place at your dealers, cigarette dealers coast to coast. Smokers by the thousands are now changing to Chesterfield. Join them today, and you'll be smoking the only cigarette that gives you proof of low nicotine, highest quality. I want you to know that's a matter of record. And so is this. As I've been telling you, Chesterfield is the only cigarette with this proven record with smokers. No adverse effects to the nose, throat, and sinuses from smoking Chesterfields. Good reasons why you should change to Chesterfield? You bet. Ask for Chesterfield, regular or king size, best for you.
a.m. Frank and I signed out of the office and we went home. At 5:13 a.m., I got a call that the husband of the victim, Herman Dillon, had returned home. The officers who called said that they were bringing him down to the city hall. I got in touch with Frank, and by the time we got to the squad room, Dillon was already there. He appeared dazed and acted as if he'd been drinking heavily. We sent out for some black coffee for him. He apparently didn't know what had happened to his wife.
What's all this about, anyway? What are you dragging me out of my house like this for?
Got a few questions we want to ask you, Dillon.
What do you got that's so important you got to go through it at 6 in the morning?
When'd you see your wife last?
About 7:30 last night. Why?
How do you and your wife get along?
We've been married for 10 years.
Not much of an answer, mister.
You're not married. Been married 10 years, and it's an answer. Been married 10 years, it's all the answer you need.
Well, maybe you better spell it out for me.
After that long, you have a few disagreements. Bound to. You know, being together all that time.
You and your wife have a disagreement last night, did you?
Yeah, we had a discussion.
What about?
I don't think that's any of your business.
Yeah, well, maybe it is. Now, what'd you argue about?
Her running around. Wasn't a real argument, just a discussion.
The way we got it, it was more than that.
And you got it wrong.
We heard you hit her a couple of times.
That's a lie. I might have shoved her a little. She had it coming, though, all the time running around. We got 3 kids, 3 little kids, and she doesn't care that for them. Always going out, hanging around those cheap bars, boozing it up. I came home the other night. She'd walked out and left the kids all alone, all by themselves. Didn't even get a sitter for them.
Where you been tonight?
Why? Why do you have to know that?
You want to tell us?
Yeah. After Grace and me had the fight, she walked out. I waited for her to come home. Then when she didn't, I went out to find her.
Did you? Did you find her?
No, I looked all over for her. All the bars along the boulevard, but she wasn't there.
Where you been since the bars closed?
Walking around.
In all this rain?
Yeah. I've been trying to figure out what to do, trying to make up my mind.
About what?
What I should do with Grace. Things can't go on like this. They just can't.
We've heard from some of your wife's friends that you made threats in their lives. Is that right?
Who told you that?
We just heard it. Is it true?
I suppose so. If I'd have found her tonight, I'd have maybe killed her. I'd never been so mad before.
You see anybody you knew tonight?
What?
When you were walking around, did you see anybody you knew?
No, why?
When you got no way to prove where you were.
Why'd I have to do that?
Might make things easier on you.
Hey, what's this all about anyway? Why are you asking all these questions about me and Grace? What are you trying to say? Where is Grace, you know?
Yeah?
Well, where is she? What's happened to her?
She's in the hospital. She had an accident. It's pretty bad.
What kind of an accident?
Looks like she was beaten.
And you think I did it?
Might have been you.
She lied?
Yeah.
You think I beat her up?
Did you?
No. I maybe wanted to, knock some sense into her, but I didn't do it.
You prove where you were tonight?
Why?
Can you prove where you were?
No, I don't even know myself. Hey, you really think I did it?
That's what we're trying to find out.
You know, I was pretty drunk tonight. I got real loaded. That's a terrible part.
Yeah, let me see your hands, will you?
Why?
Let me see them.
All right.
Put them up there, both of them.
Here.
Where'd you get those bruises?
I don't know. I don't remember.
You better try. This is pretty important.
I told you I was drunk.
There's only one thing that'll put bruises like that on your hands.
Yeah?
You hit something pretty hard. Herman Dillon was detained pending further investigation. We'd called the hospital, but there was no change in Mrs. Dillon's condition. Because of the lack of physical evidence, her testimony was essential in apprehending the person who'd beaten her. We had 2 prime suspects. Cecil Johnson, who was known to have been in her company when she left the bar. Johnson's record indicated that he was capable of committing the crime. On the other hand, the victim's husband had stated that he might kill her. He was unable to explain his movements at the time of the attack. The only person who could tell us the true story was the victim herself, and we had the doctor's statement that she might not remember the events immediately leading up to the beating. At 10:14 a.m. the following morning, the officer called from the hospital telling us that Mrs. Dillon had regained consciousness and could be questioned. The doctor told us that she was calling for her husband and asked that we bring Dillon with us. We went by the city jail and picked him up, and then we drove over to the hospital. The doctor told us that Mrs. Dillon was in a weak condition and that we couldn't talk to her at any length. Frank, Dillon, and I went into her room and waited for her to open her eyes.
That's you, Herman?
Yes, dear.
You're not mad at me, are you? You're not still mad at me?
No, dear, I'm not.
Oh, that's good. I was afraid you still were mad. You know, Herman, you shouldn't have hit me like you did. I know maybe I had a reason, but you shouldn't have hit me.
Can you tell us what happened, Mrs. Dillon?
Who are you?
Police officers.
What are you doing here?
Trying to find out who did this to you.
It wasn't anybody did it.
Ma'am?
It wasn't anybody. I did it myself. Silly did it all by myself.
I don't believe I understand, Miss Dillon.
Herman and me had a fight, and I walked out. I was going to leave him. I went down and had a few drinks, just a few, and I got to thinking about me and Herman. How I was such a bad wife. I got to thinking about the kids and how I was a bad mother. You aren't still mad at me, are you, Herman? Really, in your heart?
No, Grace, I'm glad you're going to be all right. That's all that counts.
You want to tell us what happened, Miss Dillon, please?
I was on my way home. I was going back. Cecil was walking home with me. It was raining pretty hard, and we came to a gutter that was full of water. I stepped up on the curb to go around it. I didn't want to step in the water, and I fell. Fell down the hill, rolled all the way to the bottom, all the way to the next street. I remember falling. I remember laying in the street down below and how I couldn't move. I didn't know about anything else after that. Until just when you got here, Len, I don't remember much of anything.
You mean that you fell down yourself, that nobody beat you up, huh?
No. Herman hit me when I was home. He got mad at me and hit me. But he was right. You were right, honey. Real right. But it's going to be different, I promise you. Just as long as you ain't still mad at me. That's all that matters, that you ain't mad.
Now, take it easy, honey. Everything's going to be all right. Just take it easy and try to get some sleep.
I love you, Herman. I love you very much. And I'm going to make it all up to you, all the bad times. I'm going to make it all up to you.
I love you too, Grace. Now, you go to sleep. Get some rest.
All right, honey.
All right, thank you, Miss Dillon. We better go.
You going to want me anymore, Sergeant?
No, I don't think so.
Wonder if she means it. If she really does.
What's that?
About making it up to the kids, how things are going to be different.
Well, I don't know. She said she would.
That's just it. She said it so many times before.
The story you have just heard is true. The names were changed to protect the innocent.
On November 18th, a meeting was held in the captain's office homicide division. In a moment, the results of that meeting.
Now, here is our star, Jack Webb.
Thank you, George Fenneman. Friends, we've been getting letters from people all over the country telling us that they've switched to Chesterfield. Now, just as I've been telling you, thousands of smokers are changing to Chesterfield because only Chesterfield gives proof of low nicotine, highest quality. That's why I recommend you try them today. Regular or king size, Chesterfields are really mild, really satisfying. Best for you.
Since no crime had been committed, no legal action was taken against Mr. and Mrs. Dillon. Cecil August Johnson was removed to Room 5, Georgia Street Receiving Hospital for further psychiatric examination. You have just heard Dragnet, a series of authentic cases from official files. Technical advice comes from the Office of Chief of Police W.H. Parker, Los Angeles Police Department. Technical advisors, Captain Jack Donahoe, Sergeant Marty Wynn, Sergeant Vance Frazier. Heard tonight were Ben Alexander, Jack Crucian, Vivi Janis, Harry Bartell. Script by John Robinson. Music by Walter Schumann. Hal Gibney speaking.
Watch an entirely new Dragnet case history each week on your local NBC television station. Please check your newspapers for the day and time. Chesterfield has brought you Dragnet, transcribed from Los Angeles.
Have you tried new cork tip Fatima? It's the smooth smoke, with Fatima tips of perfect cork. King size for longer filtering, and Fatima quality for a much better flavor and aroma. Fatima is made and guaranteed by Liggett & Myers Tobacco Company. Try Fatima today.
Hear Frank Sinatra as Rocky Fortune tonight on the NBC Radio Network.
The story of Dr. Kildare.
Whatsoever house I enter, there will I go for the benefit of the sick. And whatsoever things I see or hear concerning the life of men, I will keep silence thereon, counting such things to be held as sacred trust. I will exercise my art solely for the cure of my...
The story of Dr. Kildare, starring Lou Ayres and Lionel Barrymore. Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer brought you those famous motion pictures. Now this exciting, heartwarming series is heard on radio. In just a moment, the story of Dr. Kildare. But first, your announcer. story of Dr. Kildare, starring Lou Ayres as Dr. Kildare and Lionel Barrymore as Dr. Gillespie.
Parker said you wanted to see me, Dr. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were alone.
It's all right, Jim. Come in. Mr. Sarvo, this is Dr. Kildare.
Dr. Kildare? How do you do, sir?
Jimmy, Mr. Sarvo has presented me with a problem, and I wanted you here as a witness.
Oh?
Mr. Sarvo wants me to examine a man and treat him, but he wants me to do it without knowing the identity of the patient.
Nobody can know his identity. That is imperative.
It's also highly unusual, Mr. Sarvo.
I assure you it is necessary.
It's also necessary that I protect Blair Hospital.
I don't understand.
Oh, that should be rather simple to understand, Mr. Sarvo. For all Dr. Gillespie knows, you may be asking him to treat a criminal or something, a man wanted by the law.
No, I give you my word. The man you will treat is not a criminal. Quite the contrary.
Well, then why can't you tell me who he is?
Dr. Gillespie, I can't even give you a reason. All I can say is that I hope someday I may be able to explain it to you.
Oh, there's one thing we're entitled to know. You didn't choose Blair Hospital and Dr. Gillespie out of thin air for this case.
The choice was made after extensive inquiry. Dr. Gillespie is reputed to be the finest internist available.
How do you know your patient needs an internist?
Because of the symptoms. Severe abdominal pain, general malaise, insomnia. Doctor, it is my understanding that you cannot refuse to treat a patient simply because you do not know his identity.
Oh, just a moment, Mr. Sarvo. Dr. Gillespie hasn't refused treatment.
Then there's nothing further to discuss, is there? I will reserve 2 rooms here at the hospital for tomorrow morning. I'll occupy one of them so that I may be close at hand. And your patient will be admitted to the other under the name of John Smith.
John Smith. All right. Bring him in the morning and we'll have a look at him.
Thank you, gentlemen. I wish I could tell you what a tremendous trust is being placed in your hands.
Oh, just a moment, Mr. Sarvo. Dr. Gillespie, according to the symptoms, we probably should run a GI series. Huh? Patient might as well be prepared for it anyway when he comes in, huh?
Yes, of course, Jimmy, that's right. See that your John Smith takes no food or liquid of any kind after midnight tonight. Have him here and ready for examination at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Any request you make will be granted, Doctor.
Yeah. Any request will be granted, Doctor, except telling us who the patient really is.
Someday, frustration of your curiosity will give you an ulcer.
Oh, is that so? When did I ever go around sticking my nose into other people's business?
What was that noise?
I'll bet I know. Since when have you taken over the janitor's job? You were listening at the keyhole. That's what you were doing.
Oh, I was not.
No, you were so. You're just busting to find out who John Smith is.
Why,
Go on. Go back to your work and stop meddling.
Well, you don't have to go hollering just because I'm interested in my job, you know.
Women. Did you ever see anybody so nosy in all your life, Jimmy?
That's a delicate question.
Oh, if a man wants to call himself John Smith, it's nobody's business but his own.
Oh, I quite agree.
Who the devil can he be picking such a silly name like that?
Oh, we may find out in the morning while we're finding out what's wrong with him. Now, don't be nervous, Mr. Smith. Fluoroscope can't harm you.
Oh, it just makes it possible for us to see how you're functioning organically.
I quite understand. I won't be a difficult patient.
Oh, I'm sure you won't. Heart looks all right. Move the viewing plate down, Jimmy.
Okay. Get a look at the, Look at this, Dr. Gillespie.
I see it. In the pyloric region.
Have you had difficulty retaining food lately, Mr. Smith?
Yes. Sometimes I suffer from extreme nausea.
Better get a better look at that, Jimmy. Parker, where's the barium mixture?
Right here, Dr. Gillespie.
Give it to Dr. Kildare.
Thank you. Oh, Mr. Smith, I want you to take this glass in your left hand. Got it?
Yes.
Now, this is barium. It's a metallic liquid. Harmless, but it shows up well in the fluoroscope and X-ray. We can trace its course through your digestive tract. I want you to start by taking just one large swallow.
All right, Doctor.
That's good, good. Now just hold the glass. I want you to drink the rest of it in a minute.
Use a little hand pressure, Jimmy.
All right.
Force it around the pyloric region.
Let me know if this causes you any discomfort, Mr. Smith. See it clearly now?
Yes, very clearly.
All right, Mr. Smith, drink the rest of the mixture. Take it all down quickly as possible, please. Now, I'll tilt the backboard into table position. I want you to climb up on it and lie down on your stomach. That's it. Now, lie on your right side of your face. Arms above your head, please.
I'll move the viewplate, Jimmy.
Thanks.
Hey, there it is. That's the spot.
Yes. All right, Parker, turn off the fluoroscope, put on the lights.
You just stay in that same position for a few minutes, Mr. Smith.
All right.
Want me to call the X-ray technician?
Yeah. Tell them to take 4-quarter views and let's know when they're ready.
After the X-rays are finished, you can go back to your room, Mr. Smith. We'll talk to you later.
Thank you, Doctor.
Well, what do you think, Jimmy?
We'll know better when we see the X-rays, of course, but there's a definite growth on the pylorus.
A dangerous growth?
Not necessarily, not unless it's malignant.
Well, if it isn't now, it will be if it's left there much longer.
I'd recommend exploratory surgery unless the plates indicate a benevolent tumor.
I am afraid that what we saw wasn't benevolent.
Here are the X-rays, Dr. Gillespie.
Oh, good. Let's have a look at them.
I'm afraid they don't require very much looking.
Yeah.
You agree?
All the appearances of carcinoma.
That's what I thought. Well, it'll have to be removed.
In a couple of weeks at the most. If the growth spreads, the pylorus will be completely obstructed. After that, we'd be too late.
Well, we don't have any worry on that score. It isn't too late now, from all indications. It's still operable, and I'd say the prognosis is favorable.
Oh, definitely. Unless complications develop.
None manifest.
Oh, serious complications seldom are. They pop up when they're least expected. That's what makes them serious.
Guess we'd better have a talk with Smith and get his consent for surgery.
Mr. Savo has asked that we discuss our findings with him first, Jimmy. He's been in my outer office for an hour.
You know, that's an odd relationship between Sarvo and Smith. What do you suppose is behind it?
Well, Dr. Kildare. Who's busting with curiosity now?
Oh, come now, Dr. G. Your long nose is still showing.
It is not. Parker! Parker!
Yes, Dr. Gillespie.
Is Mr. Sarvo still there?
Yes, miss.
Send him in, please.
Doctor, we'll see you now, Mr. Sarvo.
Thank you. Oh, gentlemen, he's all right, isn't he? There's nothing seriously wrong.
Are you asking us or telling us?
Well, I'm sorry, Doctor. I'm upset. Now, please tell me what you found.
Your friend's a very sick man, Mr. Sarvo. I'll be blunt with you. We've located what seems to be a cancerous growth.
Then he's going to die.
Nobody said that.
Well, fortunately, you brought him here in time. The growth is operable.
No, Doctor. You're wrong. The growth is not operable. Not with him.
Are you a doctor, Mr. Salvo?
No, but I know something that you have yet to learn. Then you'll understand. I'll begin by telling you who John Smith really is.
Well?
The man you know as John Smith is Philip III, King of Corsonia.
That's impossible. Philip of Corsonia abdicated his throne and made the country a democracy 15 years ago. He's been living in England.
He has been here incognito for several months.
Why couldn't you tell us this before?
Because he has enemies. In 4 months, there'll be a plebiscite in Corsonia, an election that will determine whether the country remains democratic or falls before a rising dictatorship. Philip is the one man who can rally the democratic forces, bring the split factions together.
Well, then the operation's even more imperative. If we don't operate, he'll be dead in 2 months.
I know, Doctor. But there's nothing you can do to save him.
But we've told you that the whole...
Just a minute, Jimmy, just a minute. I'm afraid we're dealing with more than cancer. We're dealing with the curse of royal blood. Is Philip a descendant of the Bourbons, Savo?
Yes.
Yeah.
You mean he's a hemophiliac, a bleeder?
Yes, Doctor.
What can we do, Dr. Gillespie? If we don't operate on him, he'll die of cancer in 2 months. If we do operate, his blood won't coagulate. He'll bleed to death on the table.
Jimmy, that man is doomed.
We return to the story of Dr. Kildare in just a moment. Continue with the story of Dr. Kildare, starring Lou Ayres as Dr. Kildare and Lionel Barrymore as Dr. Gillespie.
Dr. Gillespie.
Well, Sunshine Carew, what's on your mind?
Of course, my position as head of this hospital seems to mean nothing to some people I could name. But may I remind you, I do have certain rights.
Did you come in here to read me the Constitution?
I am speaking of my rights in this hospital.
Oh.
Why haven't I been informed that Blair Hospital is honored by the presence of His Royal Majesty, Philip III of Corsonia?
What? Carew. How in tarnation did you find that out? That man's here incognito. You understand?
I understand that you have tried to deprive Blair Hospital of the greatest publicity story in its history.
Publicity? If one word of this leaks out, I'll cut out your giblets.
But really, you expect me to ignore...
How did you find out?
I have my sources of information, Dr.
Oh, so that's it. That... Parker?
Did you call me your magic, Dr. Gillespie?
You nitwit. So that's why you've been practicing that funny bowing stuff.
Well, for your information, it's not funny bowing stuff. It's what they do at court, and it's called a curtsy.
With those pretzel legs of yours.
Pretzel legs. Let me tell you.
You tell me nothing. I'll tell you, both of you. A man is going to die, and the country he loves may die with him. Is that what you two blabbermouths want to turn into a publicity circus? Get out of here!
Dr. Kildare, come in.
How are you today, Mr.
No. I gave up being a king 15 years ago. Call me Philip, please. And regard me as a friend.
Oh, thank you.
Savo tells me that I have 2 months, Doctor.
Oh, of course, we can never be certain about those.
No. It's all right. I had hoped it might be longer. Not for myself, but for my people. If only I could live until the plebiscite. To see them secure with an honorable government, I would do anything.
Would you gamble on losing the 2 months you do have to live? Would you take that chance?
Why do you ask, Dr. Kildare?
Because even with the odds 1,000 to 1 against us, I'm going to ask you to risk that operation.
But with hemophilia...
Just a moment, Savo. Go ahead, Dr. Kildare.
Well, when a hemophiliac lives to maturity, as you have, there's sometimes an improvement in the condition of his blood. Not much, but some. With a strict pre-surgical regime, we might make some slight additional improvement. Maybe enough to give us just the ghost of a chance.
How can you ask him to take this risk?
You're forgetting something, Savo. I am going to die in any case. Dr. Kildare is asking me to risk what time I have left against the faint hope of recovery, and with it life for our people.
I'm sorry, Philip. I withdraw my objection.
All right, Doctor. I'll gamble with you. But do you realize you are gambling, too?
I realize that very keenly.
Well, then why are you doing this, Doctor?
I have my reasons.
Very well. When will you operate?
In about 2 weeks, when we've prepared you as best we can. I'll start by having the nurse bring you a capsule. It's an ovarian extract. You're to have one every 3 hours around the clock from now until surgery. The other preparations, well, you'll be acquainted with them as we go along. You send for me, Dr. Gillespie?
You know darn well I did. Sit down, Jimmy. Sit down. What are you up to?
Why, I don't know what you mean.
Do you think I'm deaf, dumb, and blind? What's behind those extracts you've been prescribing for Philip?
Well, Dr. Gillespie, I've started him on a pre-surgery regime.
A pre-surgery? Jimmy Kildare, have you gone mad?
You've got to try it.
Have you thought of what failure means?
The life of one man who will die anyhow.
Oh, I know that, but the world won't know about it, or about the odds against you. They'll only know that a king died under your scalpel, and your future as a doctor will die with him.
I can't let that matter, not in the face of what it means to his country, or what it may mean to the rest of the world.
What does it mean to us?
If Philip lives, it guarantees a democracy in Corsonia, a friendly nation in the strategic heart of Europe. Something to help balance our world against everything that might try to destroy it. And does my reputation mean more than that?
Well, you're right, Jimmy. We've no choice. Let's have it. What are your plans?
Well, now, Dr. Gillespie, I can't ask you to share this.
Oh, confound it, Jimmy Kildare. Don't you try pulling that on me. I brought you into this case, and we'll see it through together.
Now, if we can get a look at this blood smear under the microscope.
He did a lot of bleeding for a simple finger puncture, Jimmy.
I know.
How does that slide look?
The platelet count's all right. Let's see. Above 250,000, but there's still a qualitative defect.
That's the trouble. It won't clot.
Type AB. We'll call a donor.
All set for direct transfusion, Dr. Kildare.
Thanks, Parker. Now, you may bleed quite a bit, sir.
I understand.
Clench and unclench your fist after I enter the vein. Now, here we go.
Hey, watch the point of entry, Jimmy.
It's all right. He'll get more than he loses.
Yeah, not as much as you'll need.
Platelets look a little better, Dr. G.
Clotting time didn't. It still took too long.
Well, we'll have to give him another direct transfusion in surgery.
Parker, prepare an injection of fresh serum, 30 cc's.
Intramuscular?
Yes, Parker, but I'll administer it.
I better repeat the same injection 24 hours before surgery.
I will. But that'll be it, Dr. Gillespie. There's nothing else we can do.
Yes, there is, Jimmy. Yes, there is. Give it up.
I can't. I've given my word, win or lose. Parker, see that the operating room is ready Wednesday morning at 7 o'clock. Scalpel, Parker.
Yes, Doctor.
How are those hemoclamps, Dr. Gillespie?
All right. Jimmy, but hurry up.
No time for pathology. We've got to get out fast.
Open the transfusion valve a little more, Parker. He isn't getting it fast enough.
Carcinoma isn't too bad. I'll be finished in a minute.
Oh, the cancer isn't our worry.
Dr. Kildare.
What is it, Dr. Mason?
I'm not getting a pulse, Doctor.
I can't stop. Quickly, Parker. Chloramine hypo.
Here.
I'll take it.
Right into the heart muscle, Dr. Gillespie.
There it is, Jimmy.
Well, I've got all of the growth ready for suturing. Any response, Dr. Mason?
No, I don't. Wait a minute. Yes. Faint, but there's a pulse.
Step up the oxygen, please.
Watch those hemoclamps, Jimmy.
I am, but we've got to close him up fast. Can't take much more blood from the donor.
Pulse is holding evenly, Doctor, but still faint.
We'll make it.
We'll get him out alive, and we've got to keep him that way. That's a tough one, Jimmy.
Yeah. Get those ice packs ready, Parker. Temperature change around the incision may help clotting.
How about cannon applications?
Try it. We'll try anything now. We've got nothing to lose.
Hello, Jimmy.
Oh, Dr. G.
How is he?
Oh, I'm afraid. I'm afraid we've lost. See for yourself.
But, Jimmy, there's no excessive blood loss here. Clotting seems to be all right.
All right, but too late.
Jimmy, come over here.
Is he gone?
Gone, nothing. Well, what was his last temperature reading?
Very low, almost down to 96.
Well, it's better than that now. You can tell by feeling him. Get those ice packs off him right away.
He does seem to be warmer.
Ah, of course he's warmer. He's not in coma. He's in shock from loss of blood. But he's holding now. Let his temperature come up.
The clotting's strong enough to hold.
If he's watched every minute to keep him from moving. Once he comes out of shock, one more transfusion would get him over the hump.
Yes, unless we've failed where we can't see our failure. Inside, there may be internal loss.
Well, if there is, he won't regain consciousness.
If there is, it'll be my fault.
Don't ever say that, Jimmy. Getting him this far is a miracle. You had to work faster than any surgeon I've ever seen, and against fantastic odds.
He's stirring. He's coming around.
Talk to him. Penetrate his consciousness.
I'll try. Philip, do you hear me, Philip?
Dr. Kildare.
He's coming through, Jimmy.
Yes.
Finished?
Yes, Philip, we're finished. It's all over. You'll be all right now.
I had faith in you.
You couldn't have had faith in a better man. Jimmy, I'm going to call the donor.
Oh, I'll do it, Doctor.
No. You stay here with your patient. I'm the assistant on this case, and I'm proud of it.
In just a moment, we will return to the story of Dr. Kildare. Dr. Kildare, starring Lou Ayres as Dr. Kildare and Lionel Barrymore as Dr. Gillespie.
Good morning, Dr. G.
Well, Jimmy, why are you so bright and cheerful?
Why, haven't you seen the morning papers? Hey, look. Results of the Corsonia plebiscite. Look at that headline.
Former monarch leads Democratic faction to overwhelming victory.
Mm-hmm.
People rally to execute. Jimmy, that is wonderful.
I know, and look at this. The man we knew as Sarvo was elected president of the Republic.
Ah, president. I like that word, Jimmy. I like it. Gives me a safe feeling.
Dr. Kildare. Oh, Dr. Kildare.
Yes,
Parker, must you come in here like you were shot out of a cannon?
Well, I wanted to give this to Dr. Kildare. It's a cablegram. It just came all the way from Europe.
From Europe?
Here. What is it? What does it say?
Well, give him a chance to open it. Do you think he has X-ray eyes? Good. Well, Jimmy, what does it say?
It's from Philip. It says, President Sarvo and I thank you for a victory that would not have been possible without your help and the help of Dr. Gillespie. And persuading Sarvo to appoint me ambassador to the United States and look forward to seeing you again. Sarvo and I pledge that you and your country will always have friends in ours. With humble gratitude, Philip.
have just heard the story of Dr. Kildare, starring Lou Ayres and Lionel Barrymore. This program was written by Joel Murcott and directed by Joe Bigelow. Original music was composed and conducted by Walter Schumann. Virginia Gregg was heard as Nurse Parker and Ted Osborne as Dr. Carew. Others in the cast included Larry Dobkin and Ben Wright. Dick Joy speaking.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Dragnet is brought to you by Chesterfield, made by Liggett & Myers, first major tobacco company to give you a complete line of quality cigarettes.
You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to juvenile detail. For the past 2 weeks, there have been rumors of a teenage gang war taking place in your city. You don't know when it's going to start. You don't know where. Your job, stop it. Friends, stage and screen star Paul Douglas is featured on the Chesterfield Poster of the Month that's up all over town. Here's what Paul Douglas says about Chesterfields. Quote, I've been smoking Chesterfield for 22 years. They're best for me. If you try them, you'll find they're best for you. Unquote. You know why Chesterfields are best for you. Because they're low in nicotine, highest in quality. And, of course, Chesterfields are really mild, really satisfying. Try them yourself today. Regular or king size, Chesterfield.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Tuesday, September the 8th. It was warm in Los Angeles. We were working the night watch out of juvenile detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Captain Powers. My name's Friday. We just transported a prisoner from the main jail, and it was 10:39 p.m. when we got to Georgia Street Juvenile. The interview room.
Sit down, Angelo.
Yeah.
What do they call you, Angie?
Yeah, Angie.
Why'd you tell the officers who arrested you that you were 18?
How'd they find out different?
All they had to do was check your record.
Well, it don't make any difference. Some of them say 16, some say 17. They're all different.
You're 17, though, aren't you?
Yeah, 17.
All right, you want to tell us about this burglary?
I told the other guys. Ain't that enough?
We want to hear it.
Well, figure if you tell it once, that's enough. They copped out. I told them all about it. Why don't you ask them?
All right, boy. Give us a story.
You got a match?
It'd be better if you don't smoke, don't you think?
Well, my folks don't care. They let me smoke.
The law doesn't until you're 18.
Oh, yeah.
Come on, Angie, tell us about it.
Nothing to tell. Me and a couple other kids broke into a house. That's all there is to it. We just broke into the place.
What about the stuff you took?
Well, I told the other two guys all about that.
The officers from burglary?
Yeah, they said it was from Central. I told them all about it, everything.
You show them where the plant was?
I told them. I didn't go there, though. I just told them.
What'd you steal?
Huh?
The things you stole, name them for us.
Just different stuff. You know, like you find in a house, all kinds of stuff.
Was there an electric mixer?
Yeah, good one. You know, with orange juice attachment, good.
What else?
Electric razor, some silverware.
What kind of silverware?
You know, like you eat with.
Was there a silver tea service?
A what?
A tea service, you know what I mean?
If I knew, I wouldn't ask you.
Like a coffee pot with legs, a lot of scroll work on it, silver, you know.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Oh, was there one of those?
No.
How about a German Luger?
You mean a pistol?
That's right.
No, there wasn't one of them. Hey, you guys gonna let me out tonight?
No, you'll be held here.
Well, I thought you was gonna let me go tonight. How about my folks? They know I'm here?
We haven't had a chance to notify them yet.
Where they live?
Down on Wall.
They have a phone?
I thought you always told them when you picked up a kid.
You were booked as an adult.
Oh, yeah.
You fenced any of this stolen merchandise yet?
No, we just got it last night. We just broke into the house and haven't had a chance to fence it.
The other officers say they're going to pick it up?
Yeah.
You got a job?
What?
I said, are you working?
I told you I did.
Where?
Place down on East 5th.
What do you do?
I'm a messenger, ride a bike, deliver things.
You working there now?
I'm here now.
You know what I mean.
No.
You're not working then?
The boss and me had a beef. He's moody one, too. Real moody.
Your parole officer know you lost the job?
I never told him.
Well, maybe he found out. Maybe that's why he was sore at you.
Yeah.
You been reporting regular?
Yeah, pretty much.
What's that mean?
Once in a while, a couple of times I missed. Just a couple. Don't have to make a federal case out of it. My parole officer know about this arrest?
I think he's been notified. How many times have you been arrested?
I don't know, maybe 6, 7.
You ever been to camp?
Yeah, I was there.
What for?
Truancy.
How long were you there?
A couple of weeks. And I broke out and they sent me to Preston. I'm on parole now. You can't let me out tonight, huh?
We'll book you and notify your officer. What's his name?
Lockridge. He's a moody old guy. Hope he ain't in a mood when he sees me. Rough if he's in a mood.
All right.
Yeah. Like he came down to see me one day and asked me how I was doing. I told him fine. I had a job. I was doing fine. He says, that's good, Angie, like that. That's good. Tells me how fine I'm doing.
Yeah.
Next day he comes to my house and reads me off. Says I'm a bum. I'm no good. All like that. Moody.
Why'd he read you off?
I don't know.
Didn't he tell you?
No, he just came in and yelled at me. I wasn't doing anything. He's moody.
You belong to a gang, Angie?
Huh?
I said, do you belong to a gang?
Yeah, we got a club. I belong to that.
What's the name of the club?
Little Wall Street Gang. You heard of it?
No.
Good club. You sure you ain't heard of us?
No.
How about you?
No. Your gang fight much?
What do you mean, fight?
Well, you ever get mixed up in gang wars, anything like that?
No, not us. We've been in a couple of street fights, maybe. You know, some kids come over to where we are and start trouble, but we never been in no gang wars. We got a good gang.
You know anybody that belongs to Pink Rats?
A couple of guys. I don't know them real well.
Who are they?
I told you, I don't know them real well. Just to know them when I see them, you know, like that.
You don't know any of the names, huh?
I think one of them's called Pinky. That's all I know. Look, why are you asking me about them?
Well, we got a rumble that they're cooking up a gang war. Wondered if you knew anything about it.
Where'd you hear it?
We did. You know anything on it?
No.
You sure?
I told you. I wouldn't tell you if it wasn't right.
Now, look, Angie, if this thing breaks loose, there's going to be a lot of kids hurt. If you got no part in it, why don't you give us a story?
I'm giving it to you. Ain't nothing more I can tell you. Didn't hear nothing about no war. I told you I belong to the Little Wall Street Gang. We don't get mixed up in no wars. A couple of street fights, maybe, but no wars.
You gonna stand on that?
I haven't got any other way. What did you hear?
What?
What did you hear about the rats? About the war, I mean. Who are they going to fight?
Well, the way it comes to us, they're going to cut into the orchids.
You mean from the south side?
Yeah.
They're rough guys.
That's what we hear.
How did it start?
What do you mean?
What's the beef? The orchids won't go that far away from home to stage something. Got to be a reason. You guys know what it is?
Well, the way we got it, a girlfriend of one of the orchid gang moved over into the Pink Rat territory. She started to go with one of the rats. The orchids didn't like it, so they drove over one night and beat up on one of the rats.
The next night, the rats went over to the south side and kicked around one of the orchids. That's the way it started. A couple of nights ago, one of the rat kids was riding down the street on a motorbike. A car full of orchids came up alongside the boy, and before he could do anything about it, they wrapped a piece of bicycle chain around his head.
Kill him?
No. He's still in the county hospital. He's not doing too well.
We got word there's going to be a party this Saturday night at one of the rats' house. They figure maybe that's where the trouble's going to be.
You're not throwing any coconuts at me?
What?
This is for real?
It's the way we get it. Those kids get started, and somebody's going to get hurt real bad.
Maybe a lot worse than you got it figured.
What do you mean?
I heard about the job the orchids did last week.
Yeah?
They broke into a place and cleaned it out. Must have been for Saturday night.
How do you mean?
They stole a couple of rifles. Something worse.
Yeah?
12-gauge shotgun.
10:45 p.m. Angelo Marcal was rebooked at Georgia Street Juvenile on a charge of burglary. His shoes and his belt were taken from him, and he was held in detention. We put in a call to his parole officer and told him what had happened. After that, we drove by Marcal's home to inform his parents of the arrest, but we found nobody there. We left our card with a notation asking them to call us when they returned. Before the Marcal boy had been placed in the cell, we'd gotten a description of the boy he knew as Pinky. After trying to contact Marcal's parents, we went up to the second floor of the juvenile division and had the record bureau check the nickname and description. We came up with 3 possibles. We pulled the mug shots of the boys and showed them to Angelo Marcal, but he was unable to give us an identification. It was difficult to tell if the boy was lying or telling us the truth to try to cover up for the members of the Pink Rat Gang. The following afternoon, Wednesday, September 9th, Frank and I checked into the office, and then we drove out to see the parents of the Marcal boy. They still hadn't returned, and the neighbors told us that they had seen the couple drive away early Monday morning without giving any indication as to when they might return. We asked the woman who lived next door to call us when they did come back. 4:40 p.m. We drove over to the east side of town to check on the three possibles named Pinky that we'd turned up the previous night. All of the boys were able to prove to our satisfaction that they were not the Pinky we were after. We talked to the youngsters in the neighborhood, asking them if they knew anything about an expected gang war. Either they didn't know anything about it or they wouldn't tell us. 6:15 p.m. We went back to the office and put in a call to Central Burglary.
Yeah. We haven't got the exact date. The way we got it, there are a couple of rifles taken and a 12-gauge shotgun. No, and a 12-gauge shotgun. Yeah. Sure, I'll wait. They're checking the reports now.
This is one tip I'd like to have turned bad, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, Rex. Mm-hmm. That'll be the 30, huh? Yeah. What's that? Yeah, I guess it might be. Won't help if it is. Right. Let us know, huh? Right. I got the reports. Guns were stolen on Tuesday, August 30th. I still haven't been able to get anything on it. Rifles were 30-06s.
Deer rifles, huh?
Yeah. Olson says he got another report last night. Might mean something.
Yeah.
Hardware store broken into.
What'd they take?
4 boxes of 30-06 ammo, 3 boxes of 12-gauge cartridges.
It might have been a coincidence, but if it wasn't, the Orchid Gang was armed with 3 guns and 225 rounds of ammunition, enough to start and sustain a small war. 6:35 p.m., we contacted Lieutenant Hartgrove, the night watch commander, and he assigned 2 other teams of officers to work with us. In addition to the juvenile officers, radio units out of Metro Division, reserves, joined us in the search for members of the Orchid Gang. The streets in the area were combed. Citizens in the area were questioned, but they failed to supply any information on the boys who belonged to the gang. The satin-embroidered jackets the members of the Orchid Gang wore had disappeared from the streets. At 12:01 a.m., the search was called off, and a broadcast was put out to the regular units in the area to be on the watch for any gang activities. 12:47 a.m., we got in touch with Rex Olson in Central Burglary. He told us that the crime lab had failed to come up with any physical evidence on the theft of ammunition from the hardware store. 1:20 a.m., Frank and I checked out of the office and we went home. The following morning at 8:30 a.m., we got in touch with a juvenile informant, and he was able to give us more information on the expected gang war. He told us that the fight was set for Saturday night. He was unable to give us the exact address of the party that was to be crashed, but he did give us a general idea of the location. He was also able to give us the name Pinky Eggers and his address. He told us that the Eggers boy was the leader of the Pink Rats and might be able to give us information on the membership of the Orchid Gang. 12:40 p.m., Frank and I drove out to talk to the Eggers boy. We checked his school, but he wasn't there. We went to his home. It was a small one-story frame building with a weathered picket fence surrounding it. A 1947 hopped-up Ford was in the driveway. Frank and I went up on the porch and rang the bell.
Yard could sure stand to cleaning up.
Yeah. Wonder who the car belongs to.
I don't know. Sure looks fast.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Like to see Pinky Eggers.
Who are you?
Police officers.
Well, can't you lay off the kid? Why don't you quit rousting him?
Is he here?
No, he ain't here, and if he was, I don't think I'd let you see him.
That his car?
Yeah, it's his.
Registered in his name?
No, in mine. Now, what are you after the kid for?
I want to talk to him.
Well, talk to me. I'm his father. Anything you got to say to him, you can tell me.
Your boy belonged to a club called the Pink Rat Gang?
Why?
Does he?
I answer no questions till you tell me why you're asking.
Now, look, mister, we're not out here to pass the time of day. Your boy's mixed up in something that can turn out to be pretty serious.
That right?
That's the way it is.
Who says it's serious, and what are you talking about?
We got word that your boy's mixed up in a gang war that's going to break out this weekend.
And you 2 big cops are out here leaning on a kid because he's mixed up in a beef. Listen, there's a 5-year-old kid down the street skating on the sidewalk. Why don't you go put the arm on her?
If this war breaks out and somebody's going to get hurt, maybe your boy. We're trying to stop it.
Well, don't bother. Pinky can take care of himself. Any of the gangs cause trouble, the rats can swing their end. You want to stop the beef, go talk to the other kids. Tell them to lay off. My boy's gang is now looking for trouble. Any fighting going on, you can talk to the other kids. You check them. Leave my boy alone.
We want to talk to him, Mr. Eggers.
You going to make a pinch?
No, we just want to talk to him.
Should have known you were going to take him today. Only 2 of you. Well, I'm telling you, you ain't laying a hand on Pink. You try it, and I'll haul you in every court in the country. Now get out of here.
Where's your boy now?
That's none of your business. I told you to get out.
Maybe you don't understand, Eggers. This is a gang war. Your boy's helping to build it.
All right, so a couple of kids get together in a vacant lot and mix it up. A couple of bloody noses, black eyes, nothing wrong. Makes men out of them.
A lot more serious than that. We understand there's going to be guns used in it.
You get out of here now. I got some rights. You ain't off the property in 2 minutes flat, I'm going to get a gun and start shooting. You come around here telling me my son's getting mixed up with a bunch of hoodlums using guns? You guys are Section 8s. Maybe Pinky will belt a couple of kids, but there ain't going to be no guns. Only reason they'd use them is that they're around all the time with you cops hounding them. You just can't see a bunch of kids have a little fun, can you? Unless they belong to the stinking clubs you build, you can't stand on that DAPS or whatever you call it. Kid don't belong to that, ain't no good in your book. Well, I'm telling you something. Any kid that does belong to it's a bum in my book. Now, you get off my property and don't come back, you hear me? Anything happens, Pinky can take care of himself. He'll be okay. Now, you guys leave him alone.
I hope he's right.
3:15 p.m. Frank and I drove over to Pinky Ager's school again. We spent the next 2 hours talking to the youngsters in the neighborhood. Those that would cooperate with us didn't have the information that we needed. The others refused to tell us anything. In the meantime, officers from 77th Street Division were checking on the activities of the Orchid Gang. They ran into the same evasive answers that we had. If the information we'd gotten was true, we had a little more than 48 hours to find the principals in the war before the shooting could start. Thursday night, 8:40 p.m., Frank and I met with Captain John Powers, Lieutenant Hartgrove, and the heads of the juvenile details throughout the city. From them, we learned that word of the impending war had spread through the gangs in the separate districts, and that the other gangs were taking sides in the argument and were ready to start their own battles with factions who opposed them. Captain Powers, along with the heads of the divisions, mapped a plan of action to be put into effect at the first sign of an outbreak. Additional cars from Metropolitan Division reserves were to be ready if they were needed. Days off for all juvenile officers were canceled. A three-way radio contact would be kept open between all divisions on Saturday night. The area where the main activity was expected would be heavily patrolled, both by beatmen and by radio car officers. Once the operating plan was set up, there was little to do but wait. In the meantime, the search went on for members of the Orchid Gang and for Pinky Agers, the leader of the Pink Rats. A watch had been placed on his home, but he'd failed to return. Friday, September 6th, 9:42 p.m., Frank and I checked with the burglary division on the stolen guns, then we went over to the New Yorker restaurant to get something to eat.
Hi, Sal.
Hey, Joe, call your office, huh? I just called you.
Yeah, thanks. Order him the fish and chips, will you, Frank? Sure. How's it going, Sal?
Not bad. With you?
Kind of rough. Where's Rosie?
Her and the kids went to movies.
$2568, please. Yeah, George Juvenile. Right. Lieutenant, it's Friday. Well, when did it happen? Well, wait till I get a pencil. Saul, hand me that menu, will you?
Yeah. Here you are.
All right, go ahead. Yeah, I got it. Yeah. Well, what do you want us to do? Yeah. They know yet? Yeah, all right. No, we'll get right over there. Bye. Never mind the food, Sal.
What's the matter?
Kids didn't wait until Saturday. They just shot up Highland Park.
What's the score?
Still coming in. A good start.
Yeah.
11-year-old boy killed.
You are listening to Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action. It's taking place at your dealers, cigarette dealers coast to coast.
Smokers by the thousands are now changing to Chesterfield. Join them today, and you'll be smoking the only cigarette that gives you proof of low nicotine, highest quality. I want you to know that's a matter of record. And so's this. As I've been telling you, Chesterfield is the only cigarette with this proven record with smokers. No adverse effects to the nose, throat, and sinuses from smoking Chesterfields. Good reasons why you should change to Chesterfield? You bet. Ask for Chesterfield, regular or king size, best for you.
The first victim of the juvenile gang war was 11-year-old Tony Herman. The teenagers next door to the Herman house were having a party. At 9:36 p.m. Friday night, a group of youngsters had arrived at the house and tried to crash the party. A fist fight had ensued, and Tony, who was doing his homework next door, had gone out to see what was causing the disturbance. As he stood on the porch watching the fighting, a 12-gauge shotgun had been fired. The pellets from the cartridge had caught the youngster in the stomach and the abdomen, and he'd gone down. At the sound of the shot, the fighting had stopped and the party crashers had left the scene. The police had been called, and Tony was removed to Georgia Street Receiving Hospital. He was dead on arrival. From the neighbors, descriptions of the party crashers had been obtained. All of the boys wore satin jackets with a large white orchid embroidered on the back. One of the people who saw the shooting said that the boy who'd fired the gun wore a jacket with the name Gene under the orchid design. A broadcast was gotten out immediately, along with a description of the car that the juveniles had used to escape. The parents of the Herman boy were not at home when the shooting occurred. From the neighbors, we found that they usually went to a movie on Friday night, and they didn't return until after midnight. An officer was stationed at the house to bring them to the hospital when he returned. At 1:34 a.m., Mrs. Herman arrived at the hospital. She was a small, dark woman with graying hair. She didn't know what had happened. Frank and I met her in the hall.
I want to see Sergeant Friday. Is he here?
I'm Sergeant Friday, ma'am.
Well, I'm Mrs. Herman. They say something's happened to Tony.
Yes, ma'am. You want to step in here? Might be a little better to talk.
All right. Can I see him? He isn't hurt bad, is he? It's that bicycle. I told his father I knew it was too soon for it. He's so little, and to buy him a big bike like that, well, he couldn't hardly reach the pedals. Well, that's it, isn't it? He fell off the bicycle.
No, ma'am.
What is it, then? What is it? Something more? He's hurt. I want to see him.
Just a minute, Miss Herman.
Well, why won't you tell me what happened to him? My husband will be here in a few minutes, and he's going to want to know. Why won't you tell me? How bad's he hurt?
Pretty bad, man.
That's not an answer. How bad's he hurt?
He's dead.
Dead?
Can we get you anything?
My boy's dead? Tony? What? I thought he'd fallen off the bicycle. He got it for his birthday, a new bicycle, 28-inch wheels. I thought he'd fallen. I didn't know it was like this. Can I see him, my boy? Can I?
Yes, ma'am.
How did it happen? How?
Oh, we're sorry about it, Miss Herman.
My Tony had an accident, and he's dead. He went to a movie, and we come home to find our son's dead.
Better get the doctor, Frank.
Right.
Doctor will be here in a minute, Miss Herman.
Just to a movie. He's doing his homework. Now he's dead. How did it happen, Mr. Friday?
The gun went off. He was standing on the porch. He was hit.
But who was shooting? Who shot my boy? Who killed him?
We don't know, Miss Herman.
I want to know who it was who killed him. I want to know. His father's going to want to know. My boy's dead. My boy, my son.
You want to handle this, Doc? We'll wait outside.
Surely.
Kind of hard to do.
You're going to make up for it.
Huh?
The kid that fired the gun?
Yeah.
They got him downstairs.
A few minutes after the broadcast had gone out on the boy wearing the jacket with the name Gene on it, two officers on York Boulevard had picked up the speeding car. In shaking down the occupants and the car itself, they'd found the jacket hidden under the rear seat. In the trunk of the automobile, they'd found the stolen rifles and the shotgun with one discharged cartridge in it. The three boys in the car had been taken into custody and brought immediately to Georgia Street. Two of the youngsters had been taken to the detention cells, and the third, who identified himself as Gene Graff, was brought to the office of the night watch commander. From the identification found in his pockets, we learned his name, address, and his age, 16 years old. His parents were notified that he was being held, and they were asked to come to the office immediately. All the time the boy had been in the room, and the calls had been made, he refused to say anything. When Frank hung up the phone after calling his parents, he made the first statement.
What's that going to prove?
What's that?
Having him come down here. What are you going to prove with that?
You want to tell us about it?
That's a kid. You going to be all right?
No, he's not.
How bad's he hurt?
He's dead.
Rough.
That's all you got to say?
What do you want me to say?
You gunned down an 11-year-old boy, and that's all you got to say about it?
Look, cop, I know the routine. You read me off, make a big speech, and I'm supposed to feel real bad. Well, I'd like to go along with you, but it won't work. Look, save the effort. Use the words in somebody else. Do what you're going to do, and let's get it over with.
How old are you?
You already saw it.
How old?
16.
Pretty heavy, aren't you?
I've been around, yeah.
Don't get smart, kid.
Not my fault. I was born that way.
How many times you been arrested?
Couple.
How many times?
4.
For what?
Suspicion 211, suspicion 245.
You're 16. You've been picked up for robbery and assault.
I didn't stand any of them.
You ever been in camp?
No.
You ever served any time?
Look, the taxpayers pay you a lot of money to keep records. Why don't you look all this up? It's there.
Where'd you get the shotgun you used tonight?
I won it in a raffle. I got a lot of luck.
Yeah, well, it just ran out, kid. Now, I'm going to give you a piece of advice. If you're as smart as I think you are, you're going to take it. You start answering these questions, you start answering them right. You bought yourself a pile of trouble that you and that smart mouth of yours aren't going to talk your way out of. You killed somebody, an 11-year-old boy. You walked up that house with a gun you were ready to use. And you just answered the questions and never mind the sarcasm.
Put the muscle away. You lean on me and I'll have every sister in this state on your neck. I'm a juvenile. Don't you forget it.
You just got out of that league.
That's the way you see it.
That's the way it is.
From where you sit. But I'm telling you, you give me any muscle and I'll scream my head off to every sob sister club in the country.
I want to ask you once more, young fella, where'd you get that gun?
I bought a lucky ticket.
Stick with it, kid. We're checking the numbers now. Those guns were taken on the burglary last week. You're dead on it. We got you going in.
You try to make it stick.
Don't worry, we will.
Use narcotics?
Do I look like a hype?
I asked you a question.
And I gave you an answer.
You drink?
Sure, I'm a real lush.
I'm going to tell you something. We're running out of patience with you.
Well, then you better go get pumped up. You're going to need a lot more.
What were you doing out there tonight?
Where?
Come off it. You know what I mean.
Gently, gently.
What were you doing at that party?
What do you usually do at a party? I was having a good time.
Why'd you take that gun with you?
I was in the car. I didn't take it. I went along for the ride.
Well, who put it there?
I don't know.
Other boys say it was yours.
That's a lie.
Prove it.
I don't have to. You got to prove I did know about it.
We don't have to prove a thing. There are a couple of people who saw you shoot the kid. Guys you were with that copped out. You're nailed and you know it.
We'll see what the judge has to say about it. I've gotten off before. I'll swing it this time. I'm a juvenile. I'm not responsible for what I do.
You really believe that, don't you?
I said it.
You know, I got 2 kids.
What do you want, a medal?
I got 2 kids. They're pretty good youngsters, too. They go to school, they study hard, and they're trying hard to grow up to be decent human beings. They'll get married and raise ordinary families. They'll never do much of anything special to get their names in the papers. Nobody's going to give them much notice, and maybe that's the way they want it. But all of a sudden, somebody like you comes along, mean and rotten, and people hear about you. They figure all the kids sat down and wrote your name on a ballot, and now you represent all of them. That you're the shining example of American youth. They sit there and shake their heads and talk about what's happening to the younger generation. They got the wrong picture. It isn't true, none of it. You framed it. You act like a big man, and every decent, honest kid comes on looking like a bum. You sit there and blow off about being a juvenile. You like it because you think it'll buy you special privileges. Well, you're wrong, fella, not in my book. As far as I'm concerned, you're a rotten little killer, and you're going to be treated like one.
Now you bring out the rubber hose?
All right, come on, let's go.
Take your coat, boy. You're not coming back this way.
Yeah.
Come in.
It's Friday.
Yes, Miss Herman.
They told me I'd find you here. Is this the boy who did it?
Yes, ma'am.
What's your name?
Answer.
Gene Graff.
Why'd you do it? Why'd you kill my boy? Did he do something to you? Is that it? Did Tony do something to you? Answer me. Say something. Just tell me one thing. What right do you have? What right does a young hoodlum like you have to stand there alive and breathing and my boy dead? What right? Do you hear me? What right?
Miss Herman.
Make him tell me what right. What right? What right does he have to do a horrible thing like this? What right?
I don't know, but we're going to take it away from him.
The story you have just heard is true. The names were changed to protect the innocent.
On October 4th, a petition was filed in juvenile court, and the subject was declared unfit to be tried as a juvenile. He was ordered to be tried in superior court under the general law. In a moment, the results of that trial.
Now, here is our star, Jack Webb.
Thank you, George Fenneman. Friends, we've been getting letters from people all over the country telling us that they've switched to Chesterfield. Now, just as I've been telling you, thousands of smokers are changing to Chesterfield because only Chesterfield gives proof of low nicotine, highest quality. That's why I recommend you try them today. Regular or king size, Chesterfields are really mild, really satisfying. Best for you.
Gene Norton Graff was tried and convicted of murder in the second degree. He was referred to the Youth Authority for punishment. Murder in the second degree is punishable by imprisonment in the state penitentiary for a period of from 5 years to life. You have just heard Dragnet, a series of authentic cases from official files. Technical advice comes from the Office of Chief of Police W.H. Parker, Los Angeles Police Department. Technical advisors Captain Jack Donahoe, Sergeant Marty Wynn, Sergeant Vance Frazier. Heard tonight were Ben Alexander, Bert Holland, June Whitley, Gil Stratton. Script by John Robinson. Music by Walter Schumann. Hal Gibney speaking.
Watch an entirely different Dragnet case history each week on your local NBC television station. Please check your newspaper for the day and time. Chesterfield has brought you Dragnet, transcribed from Los Angeles.
Have you tried new cork tip Fatima? It's the smooth smoke with Fatima tips of perfect cork. King size for longer filtering, and Fatima quality for a much better flavor and aroma. Fatima is made and guaranteed by Liggett & Myers Tobacco Company. Try Fatima today.
Hear John Cameron Swayze and the news tonight on the NBC Radio Network.
My name's Regan. I work for Anthony J. Lyon, International Detective Bureau. They call me the Lion's Eye.
Wednesday at 9, and CBS brings you Jeff Regan, Investigator, starring Frank Graham as Regan with Frank Nelson as Anthony J. Lyon. So stand by for mystery and suspense and adventure in tonight's story of The Lady Who Wanted to Live.
Trouble comes cheap in this town. It's one item that's always on the market. You don't even have to go shopping for it. Somebody knocks on your door or dials your number, and you've got all you can handle. I found that out when I met Amy Goodrich, a long, low blonde with lots of speed. One look at her, and you knew you'd been friends too long. We met last Friday afternoon. I'd been out of town 2 days looking for a guy who turned up in jail in Reno. I was home counting the lumps in my mattress, trying to catch up on some sleep, when the phone began jumping around on the hook. I thought it might be somebody with Rose Bowl tickets. I was wrong. It was the Lion. Hello?
Regan, is that you?
What do you want?
Oh, it's a beautiful afternoon. The sun's shining. There's a tang in the air. How'd you like to take a nice drive out to the beach?
The season's over.
Oh, but this is a new season. Fall, Regan. Light suntan, wild ocean. Doesn't it excite you?
I haven't had any sleep in 2 days.
I know. And I hate myself for disturbing you. I just hate myself.
Get to the point, Fatso.
Well, something very important has come up, Jeffrey. I wouldn't trust anybody but you to handle it. And besides, the sea air will do you good. Give you a lift.
This isn't Berlin. Say something.
Well, I want you to call on our new client. She's a nightclub singer. Has a beach cottage in Santa Monica, 18106 Coast Road. Her name's Amy Goodrich. You still there, Jeffrey?
Still here.
Up, my boy, to the colors, on the firing line.
Drop dead.
Oh, now that's not being a good soldier. Why, if I didn't know you,
I hung up, stuck my head under the pillow again, and waited for him to call back. He didn't. He was playing it coy. Well, I tossed around for another half hour. The mattress got worse, and then a fly started buzzing against the window shade. About that time, the blonde next door decided to leave her husband, and it got real noisy. So I rolled out of bed, threw on some clothes, and climbed in my car. I drove over to Sunset Boulevard and headed for Santa Monica. 18106 Coast Road turned out to be a bundle of flagstone and glass brick piled up against the ocean. Had a lot of angles, like a shyster lawyer. Figure whoever built it never heard of the FHA. Front door was open. Inside, a skinny little guy with a complexion like dried codfish was catching up on his music appreciation. His eyes swung around when I walked in. It looked like they'd been hurting him all his life. He turned the record player down, but those elevator shoes brought him up to my chin.
I'm listening to music. Whatever you're selling, we don't want any.
How do you know?
We never want anything. So long.
Amy around?
Who are you?
My name's Regan.
What do you want?
You her?
She's around. All right, she's out back on the patio, taking a sunbath. You didn't tell me what you want with her.
I don't. She wants me. Okay?
Okay, sure, okay. Why should you be any different?
Traffic problem, huh?
We need stoplights.
Go right on through the dining room.
Just in case I want to write this up, who are you?
Felix. Felix Beethoven. Well?
I didn't say anything. When I saw her on the patio by the beach, I knew why Felix was hurting. Amy Goodrich was the kind of blonde they put on those resort hotel calendars in Las Vegas. No matter what month it was, she'd always start you looking around for spring. There wasn't enough material in her sunsuit to make a good pen wiper. And when she smiled at me, I began to feel warm inside, like a radio with a broken coil.
I know it's warm for this time of year, but you aren't wearing a sheepskin.
It wouldn't fit in this crowd.
You're from Mr. Lyon, aren't you?
How'd you know?
Well, he said he was sending me his best man. So, Mr. Regan, come over here and sit by me.
Sure I won't crowd you.
Mm-mm.
Your party, lady.
I always drink scotch. How about you?
Maybe. Later.
Well, so you're the lion's eye, Very nice.
Depends on how you look at it. I had to crawl out of bed to come over here.
Oh? You haven't been sick, I hope.
Well, when you work for the line, you just don't get much sleep.
Oh, I see. I thought you looked nice and strong.
I'll tell my tailor.
And quick, too. Look, you can relax, Regan. This job is going to be easy.
What is the job?
Protecting me.
If you're going to wear that all the time, I'd better send for reinforcements.
I think you'll be able to handle it. You'll do just fine.
If I know who I'm protecting you from.
Yes, I suppose you do have to know that. Have you ever heard of Tim Conover, Mr. Regan?
Yeah. He runs an upholstered cigar box downtown. Diamond Club.
He plays for keeps.
I've heard.
And apparently I interest him.
It figures.
I worked for him 2 years ago singing. He became very interested in me, but I turned him down.
Conover wouldn't like that.
He doesn't. He has another girlfriend now, a Helen Lesser. I thought she'd take his mind off me, but she hasn't.
You still saw him?
He's been around half a dozen times this past week, casing the place. I think he's got some nasty ideas.
Like?
I don't know. But he might not be very gentle.
So, I hang around until he shows up, huh?
Mm-hmm. You protect me, Mr. Regan. I want you to stay real close to me.
I, could go to the Diamond Club, talk to him.
You could, but he doesn't impress easily. And, I'd still want you around.
I see. You don't want me to talk to him?
There'll be time for that later. But right now, let's you and I get acquainted.
Your boyfriend isn't going to like that.
Felix? He's only my arranger. He writes better if he's jealous.
He must turn out a couple of operas a day. He's got a bad ticker, hasn't he?
He's got a bad heart. But let's talk about us.
Conover, remember?
Oh, Regan, don't go. I hate to be alone.
I'll be back.
Why'd you stay for dinner? I'll send Felix out to a double feature or something.
I'm hired. I have to see Conover.
All right. Kiss me goodbye.
No thanks, lady. I gotta drive. But it figured Amy never read the vehicle code. I didn't mind when her arms went around me, but I could feel something else on the back of my neck. Eyes. Somewhere in that house Felix was watching, and I knew he wouldn't like the kind of music we were making.
Hurry back, baby.
I could still feel him watching when I broke away and walked back through the house. He wasn't in the dining room, so I went through the archway to the living room. I didn't find him, but he found me. So the guy with the bad ticker, he was fast at his feet. He had a letter opener in his hand, but I didn't see the afternoon mail. I grabbed for him, he slid away. Then he came around again. This time I got my hand around his wrist. Drop it, Buster. Drop it. Take it easy. You got small bones. You're not built for rough work.
Leave her alone. Leave her alone, Regan. You leave her alone.
Felix got his idea across all right, but he had a one-track mind. I tried some questions, but got no answers. I figured Conover might do better, so I got in my car and drove back into town. It was just getting dark when I parked in Figueroa near Olympic. in front of the Diamond Club. Things were slow when I walked in. Too early for the jingle you spin crowd. When I asked for Conover, the bartender blinked a couple of wet stones at me.
In back, bud,
jerked his head toward the rear. I got as far as the shuffleboard table when a brunette eased out of the shadows. She wasn't wearing a coat, and it figured she was there to stay.
May I help you?
I'm looking for Tim Conover.
I'm expecting him. Come on in. Sit down, Mr.
Regan.
Oh, so you're Jeff Regan.
Ring a bell?
I've heard the name before. It fits you. You're a private investigator. Yes, of course. Tim's not in any trouble, is he?
Not yet.
What do you mean?
Maybe I better talk to him about it. Huh?
Well, if it's that important, I better find him. Make yourself at home, Mr. Regan. If you like scotch...
Thanks. I helped myself to that, waited around for about 10 minutes. The phone rang once, and I let it go. A guy in a blue suit stuck his head in the door, said something about getting the wrong room, backed out. I was just catching up on my music when the door opened. Through the mirror, I saw Conover. A gray suit with a bulge in the front of his coat.
There he is, Tim.
Thanks, man. I didn't know you played, Regan.
Hello, Conover.
I was having dinner. Helen tells me you've got something on your mind.
That's right. Do I unload it now? In front of her?
Why not? She's my baby.
This is about another baby of yours. Do I go on?
It's your show, Regan.
Amy Goodrich wants you to know she's got protection.
Oh? Well, all right, Regan. You did your job. You told me Amy's got protection. See you somewhere.
She wants to be left alone.
All right, she wants to be left alone. Anybody bothering her?
You are, according to her.
This guy's working in a weed field, Angel. I got over her a long time ago. I haven't seen her in 2 years.
I believe you, Tim.
All right, Regan. She believes me. This is where you get off.
Amy says she's seen you hanging around her place lately. Makes her nervous.
Wrong guy, Regan. You made a big mistake.
Sure. So the guy who picked Michigan.
Look, I don't know what your pitch is, or Amy's, but I'm not buying any.
You may change your mind.
You know, you've been in business too long, taking too many rabbit punches. You ought to start taking care of yourself.
You ring, boss?
Yeah. Get rid of this bum.
They were a real pretty pair of muscles. One of them had a nose that looked like he'd been dipping it in an ink bottle all his life. The other one had an ear that could have passed for a golf ball. Well, they walked me out a door that opened onto an alley in back of the club. That's when the one with all the nose frisked me.
Hey, just in case, Patty, just in case.
Get your hands off me, punk.
Easy. We're just...
Gussie says take it easy.
Hey, look. State of California. Gun and all. This guy's a gumboots. Max.
What?
I don't like no gumboots. Gumboots worse than a bum.
You hear that, gumboots? Gussie says a gumboots is worse than a bum. You don't talk.
Gumboots, how tough are you? Still don't talk.
Hey, Gussie asked you how tough you are, huh? Are you tough? Tough? Not so tough.
My turn. Hold him.
All right.
Now, gumboots, here's what we get on answer.
Very nice, Gussie.
Thank you. Come on, Maxie. We'll be late for dinner.
Yeah, what about him?
Ain't you hurt? He don't feel like eating tonight.
I don't know how long I was away, but when I came back, I felt like I'd been sleeping on the wrong side of the world. I was still in that alley, and it was still dark. My head was rattling like it was full of broken glass. The yellow cat with an inferiority complex was sitting there looking at me. All over once, he started running.
Regan.
I didn't try to catch him.
Regan! Regan!
Oh.
Can you hear me? Wake up!
Yeah.
Regan!
you been drinking?
Oh, shut up.
I send you out on a simple little job. I put all my faith and trust in you, and what do? Wind up in an alley drunk.
Get out of here.
Nuzzled up to a garbage pail, bleary-eyed, with melon seeds in your hair.
Stop
How
blowing
can you...
steam, Fatso. You're not a locomotive.
Now, don't get so excited. You're getting seeds all over.
Give me a hand, will you?
Yeah.
How'd you get here?
Amy Goodrich called. She was getting worried about you. Said you went over to see Conover. She wanted me to stop you.
I figured you would. But she's too late. A couple of his boys played beanbag with my skull.
Well, who does Conover think he is, anyway, pushing my boy around? Just who does he think?
There's the door. Go in and ask him.
Well, now, I couldn't do that. Well, tell me, what's this all about?
That's what you're going to tell me.
But I don't know anything.
Amy Goodrich must have told you something when she hired me. If you're holding out on me...
But I'm not, Jeff.
Well, then start checking. Find out about Conover.
Conover? What do you want to know about?
Everything. Find out, for example, if there's anything Amy Goodrich could be blackmailing him with.
Blackmail? Regan, what is going on?
I told you I don't know.
Well, then make a guess.
Okay. It looks like everyone's in love with Amy. I left the lion standing there. He looked worried, like an elephant with a skin rash. None of it made sense. I knew I'd have to get some answers before long. I drove over to my place and straightened myself out with a shower and some Johnny Walker. A half hour later, I was back out in Santa Monica. The fog was closing in over the house when I rang the bell. Nobody answered. But somewhere in the back there was a light, so I walked around on the sand. The patio was empty. Inside, Amy was sitting on a zebra-striped couch. She was wearing a white strapless thing with a splash of red in one shoulder. She had a movie magazine in one hand and a drink in the other. But she wasn't having a very good time. She was dead.
This is CBS, and you are listening to The Story of the Lady Who Wanted to Live. Tonight's adventure with Jeff Regan, Investigator.
Well, the lion wasn't going to like it. His client, Amy Goodrich, was dead, and she wasn't in the market for protection anymore. I looked around for a gun, but didn't find it. Then I picked up the phone and put in a call to homicide. But I never talked to them. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw Felix standing out on the patio. And he saw me. I hit the floor and pulled her ass with me. Even after the gun was empty, he stood there pulling the trigger. Then he threw it down and began running toward the ocean. I went after him.
Hold still. I killed him. Hold still. Now let me go.
You'll drown.
No, I don't care. I loved her, Regan. I couldn't stand it anymore. I couldn't stand it anymore, so I killed her. It doesn't make sense, does it?
Sure it does, but you're not going to tell yourself.
Oh, the police.
What about him?
I phoned them. I told them everything.
When?
Just before you came.
Come on.
But they'll be here. Let's go.
Yeah, that's why I said come on. I dragged him out of the surf and got him into my car. He kept mumbling all the way into town. It was 2 minutes after 10 when we got to my apartment. 3 phone calls turned up the lion in a Turkish bath. He kicked, but when I told him what happened, he said he'd come right away. 20 minutes later, he walked in. He still had a towel wrapped around his head. He looked like Sitting Bull in an Easter bonnet.
Where is he, Regan? Where is he?
In there, asleep.
Asleep? Just like that, he can drop off to sleep after what he's done?
I gave him some pills.
What about homicide?
You already called him.
But they'll be looking for him down at the beach. We've got to stay clean, Regan. I'm going to phone homicide.
Pick up that phone and I'll ram it so far down your throat you'll get a busy signal out of your hip pocket.
This is murder. What's gotten into you?
You're not going to toss Felix to the wolves.
Regan, you'll find the girl dead. Felix has the gun. He admits killing her. What are you saving him for? What are you going to do with him? Stop him and put him on your mantle?
He's a fall guy, a patsy. He didn't do it.
He didn't kill her?
He was carrying this gun. He took 6 shots at me tonight. That's all it holds. There's 1 bullet in her, and he didn't have any extra slugs. Now, what did you find out about Tim Conover?
Oh, he's clean, Regan. Absolutely clean. Unless you want to count a court-martial. He celebrated V.E. Day by poking a major in the chops.
What else?
He kicked him, too.
All right.
Hey, where you going?
Out. Look, you stay here and keep Felix company.
Oh, of course, Regan. I'll do that. Run along. You needn't worry. I'll watch over Felix like a father.
You'd better.
But the cops will be here. It won't take them more than an hour or two to find him.
Yeah, and I've got just that long to find out who really killed Amy Goodrich.
All right, all right. I suppose I'll have to go along. After all, we're working hand in hand in this thing.
In that case, I'll hide my ring. I didn't like the idea of leaving the lion there with Felix, but there was nothing else I could do. Besides, I still had to do business with a guy named Conover. I was just getting into my car when I felt a gun in my back. And right away, I knew Conover had business with me.
All right, Regan. We got things to talk over. Now just keep walking straight ahead, the black sedan. Now, Regan, you sit in front with Helen. I'll take the back seat. Okay, Helen.
Where to, Tim?
Nowhere. Regan and me can do our talking right here. It's quiet.
Tim, are you sure you're doing right?
Please, let me handle this, baby. All right, Regan, what's the play? I know Amy's dead. Now, let's just take it from there.
Who told you?
I was there tonight.
Tim, you shouldn't. He'll involve you. He'll tell the police.
I said I'll handle this, baby.
So you were there. I know, don't tell me. She was already dead when you showed up.
No, not quite. All I got out of her was the name of some guy, Dolan, and something about Lake Tahoe. She seemed to think I know what it was about.
And you didn't?
No. Kind of figured you'd tell me.
All right. Blackmail.
Amy? Blackmailing me? You didn't know her very well, did you, Regan?
She said she needed protection. I think she wanted a strong-arm boy.
No, it doesn't fit. She was no good, but not blackmail. It doesn't fit at all.
Maybe I can make it fit.
Don't try. I'm not going to be tagged for this thing, Regan. You know some answers. Maybe you better start talking right now. I said start talking.
I didn't know if Conover was just looking for information or if he wanted to find out how much I knew about a guy named Dolan in Lake Tahoe. Well, I had a 50-50 chance. I could get the butt of that gun across my face, or I could try walking away and take a chance of getting a bullet in my back. And then I saw an old coupe, Oklahoma license, limping along the other side of the street. I opened the door, stepped out onto the sidewalk. I kept on going into the middle of the street. Conover yelled, but he didn't fire. And then the coupe slammed on the brakes.
What's the matter with you, Pilgrim? You want to get yourself bashed up standing out in the middle of the street? Want to get yourself all bashed up,
They ran out of gas.
Join an auto club. Pay your dues.
There's no phone. Could you give me a lift?
I wasn't going anyhow. Well, climb in. And do it the bowling alley. Hey, what are them two going to do? Sit there and nick?
I didn't answer that. But when we pulled away, Conover was just sitting there staring. But there was nothing to stare at. Helen was different. She registered one look. Fear. 15 minutes later, the Oklahoma license dropped me off at Vermont and Franklin, where I got a cab. All the way downtown, I kept wondering about Conover's play. He could have stopped me, but he didn't. That could mean he hadn't shot Amy. It could also mean he had shot her, but he knew about Felix confessing over the phone to the police. At the Examiner morgue, I found Ned Fuller looking at a girly magazine. I told him what I wanted, and 10 minutes later, he spread out a file dated May 9th, 1945.
Is this it? Wealthy playboy shot to death. Willard J. Dolan, San Francisco socialite, found dead at Lake Tahoe cabin.
That's it.
Oh, well, they never did solve it. There's some stuff here about a mystery
I can
woman.
read.
They think she might have done it. Somebody seen her come out of the cabin that night. She's tall, blonde.
First name, Amy.
No, they never found out who she was.
Somebody did.
Oh, well, there was witnesses. Yeah, let's see here. Mr. and Mrs. Franklin James, San Diego people. They saw the dame come out. They couldn't give a good description of her.
Want to bet?
A bet? Sure, I'll take Notre Dame. Who'll you take?
I'll take a guy named Tim Conover.
Regan.
Hello, Conover. You're staying up late tonight.
You work awfully hard for a buck soldier.
That's for what your boys did to me out in an alley.
I wonder what makes a guy walk into trouble 3 times in one day. You got a lot of nerve, Regan, but you use it in the wrong places.
I'm just getting started.
All right, make your play. What's next?
You talk.
What about?
Dolan, Willard J.
I told you.
Lake Tahoe, May 9th, 1945. Talk, Conover. All right, then I'll talk. A tall blonde named Amy Goodrich. An unsolved murder at Lake Tahoe. But there was a witness. When I first came over here, I guess she was blackmailing you. I was wrong. You were blackmailing her.
You stink, Regan. I told you you wouldn't tag me for this.
Well, you're wrong.
No, he isn't, Mr. Regan.
Oh, so that's it.
Thanks, Helen. Give me the gun. I'll run things from now on. I don't know what you get out of this, Regan, but you got your engine switched.
Look, a mixed-up guy named Felix Beethoven actually thinks he killed Amy, and he didn't. I've got him on ice, but the cops will get him, and when they do, he's on his way to the gas chamber.
Oh, Tim, please, let's get out of here. Let's not listen.
Wait a minute, baby, wait. So I was blackmailing Amy. I had a good thing, but I shot her. And I was the mystery witness at Lake Tahoe. I thought you were a better gumshoe than that, Regan.
What does that mean?
The date was May 9th, 1945. You mean you haven't looked me up?
All of a sudden it hit me. Something the lion had said about VE Day and a major who got hit in the chops. And the whole thing came apart at the seams. Conover couldn't have been the witness. He was in a guardhouse in Germany. I began to feel helpless, like a glassblower with hiccups. For the first time in my life, I really wanted to talk to the lion. I looked at the gun in Conover's hand, then I reached for the phone and dialed. Slow. He didn't stop me.
Anthony J. Lyons.
Lion, the cops.
Oh, Regan. They're not here yet.
Felix?
Still asleep.
Well, get him out of there.
Regan, I can't do that.
Get him out of there. We broke our pick.
What?
I've been working the wrong angle. We got to have more time.
Well, I can't get him out of here now. We'll be seen. You must have something.
I have. A guy named Willard Dolan was killed at Lake Tahoe. A Mr. and Mrs. Franklin James were the witnesses. But Conover isn't...
Regan.
Hold it. Yeah?
That name.
Mr. and Mrs. Franklin James?
Hang up.
Regan, what's going on?
Hang up.
Jeffrey, are you...
Helen's got something to tell you.
Oh, Tim, please.
Go ahead. Go ahead, baby. Tell him.
Tim.
Wait a minute. Mrs. Franklin James.
Yeah, Mrs. Franklin James.
All right. I was Mrs. Franklin James. I was a witness. I did blackmail Amy.
And you figured me to be the fall guy. You've hung around just so you could use me if the heat ever came on.
No, I swear, Tim. I love you. I never meant to get you involved. But I used a piece of your stationery once. Amy had a trace.
So she figured it was Conover all the time.
Yes. Oh, I went crazy trying to cover it up. Because I love you, Tim. I love you. I couldn't let anything happen to you.
No, but you set me up for a murder rap.
No, I wasn't. I was trying to protect you. Don't you see Amy was going to kill you, Tim?
She was going to kill me.
Yes. Oh, she wanted Regan Powers to set up that story about your threatening her. And then she could claim self-defense.
But it didn't work that way.
No. You came around. I couldn't let Tim find out. I couldn't let anybody find out.
You killed her, didn't you?
Yes, I killed her. For you, Tim. I killed her for you. We can get away, darling. Regan's the only one who knows.
Sure, and the kid with the bum ticket takes the rap. Except that somebody might ask questions about what happened to me.
We'll have to take that chance, Tim. Regan's the only one who can make trouble for us.
Us, baby?
What?
I don't have any troubles. You have.
Oh, Tim. You're joking. Listen to me.
You're wasting your time.
Tim. You won't help me?
No.
You won't help me?
No.
But if you let them arrest me, I'll die. They'll convict me. Oh, please, you have the gun, Tim. You can save me. I don't want to die. I love you. I want to live. I don't want to go.
All right, Regan. You better get her out of here.
Tim.
Regan, I said get her out of here.
Well, that's the way it wound up. Helen went to headquarters. Tim went back to his club. I went out of town for a few days. When I got back, I drifted into the office. The Lion gave me the wind-up. A report on Felix.
Yes, Regan. Those doctors worked on Felix Beethoven 3 days. Psychiatric medicine's a profound study. Profound. They finally convinced him he didn't kill Amy.
Yeah.
That's sad. He loved that woman as cruel as she was to him. He loved her a great deal. I suppose life will be lonely for him now that she's gone.
You're wrong.
What do you mean?
I saw him in Hollywood today. He's got a new friend, one with red hair.
You mean to tell me he's willing to do it again? To accept abuse from another woman? Why, that man's a natural for any woman's dominance.
He hasn't got a thing to worry about.
But you said she was a redhead, and I know redheads.
Yeah, but Felix is bigger than this one. Besides, the new one's a Cocker Spaniel.
Jeff Regan, Investigator, was written by E. Jack Newman and Adrian Jondo, directed by Sterling Tracy. Frank Graham is starred as Regan, with Frank Nelson as Anthony J. Lyon. Original music is by Dick Arant. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Dragnet.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent. You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned a robbery detail. 3 hold-up men have robbed and beaten 2 supermarket operators in your city. You've got a good description of the thieves. Your job, get them.
It was Tuesday, November 3rd. It was cold in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of robbery detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Chief of Detectives Thad Brown. My name's Friday. We'd gotten a hotshot call about a robbery, and it was 9:46 a.m. when we got to the corner of Lockwood and Barton Avenues. The Lockton Market.
Officer back there.
Yeah. Friday and Smith, Central Robbery.
Oh, yeah, I'm Jackson, Unit 387.
You answered the call?
Yeah, we got here a couple of minutes ago.
Where's the victim?
Back room there. He's pretty bad off. Ambulance attendant's with him now.
Mm-hmm.
My partner's checking the neighborhood. If there's nothing you need me for, I'll give him a hand.
Yeah, make a 211 report for you, Lee, will you?
Right.
Thank you.
Looks like there was quite a fight.
Yeah, stuff all over the place. Come on.
What do you got in that bottle? It sure stinks. Yeah, you got to clean up these cuts. So try to hold still. Ow! Hey, take it easy, huh?
Yeah, something you want?
We're out of Central Robbery. Is this the victim?
Yeah, a couple of cuts, nothing serious.
Tell him about Andy. He's the one who really got it.
Who's Andy?
Yeah, the clerk. Pretty rough. Looks like it might be a fractured jaw. He's in the truck now. Now, let me get this tape on you now, huh?
Ow!
That should do it. Might be a good idea if you saw your doctor.
Yeah, what about Andy?
We're going to take him down to Georgia Street Receiving.
You going to call me and let me know about it?
It might be better if you called them.
Yeah, okay.
All right, see you guys, huh?
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
thanks.
Yeah, sure.
Boy, that one guy really clouded me. Hurt.
Mm-hmm. When did you feel up to telling us what happened here?
3 of them. 3. Came in and held up the place. Clouded me and Andy. Sure hope he's going to be all right.
What's your name, sir?
Cliff Hall.
You own the store, do you?
No, me and Andy run it, though. We'd like to buy it.
What time did these men come in?
Must have been around 9:30, around in there.
Did you give the officers who answered the call a description of the men?
Yeah, that was the first thing they asked me.
Go ahead, please.
I was getting the money ready for the bank deposit. Andy was back here stacking bottle cases. These 3 guys came in. First off, I thought they were customers.
Yeah.
A couple of them walked to the back of the place. I thought they were picking out stuff. The other one kind of stood around by the cash register where I was.
Go ahead.
Well, after he was there for a minute and I see the other 2 aren't picking up nothing, I asked him if there was something I could get for him. That's when he pulled out a gun.
What about the other 2?
Oh, it worked like they had some kind of signal. As soon as the one in front pulled his gun, the other 2 did too. The fellow asked me to put all the money in a paper bag. Got the bag from up in front there. Took it right out of the stack and handed it to me. Said for me to put the dough in it.
You recall his exact words?
What?
The way he said it, the words he used. You recall them?
Let me see. I think it was, put all the dough in this bag. Don't say anything. Just do as I say. That was the way he said it.
What'd you do then?
Like he said. He had that gun pointed right at me. I could see the other 2 guys. I wasn't going to do anything but what he told me. I put the money in the bag.
Mm-hmm.
I thought they'd leave the place, but that's when Andy came out. I guess he wondered what the other 2 were after. You see, from where he was, he couldn't see the guns.
Yeah.
He walked out to him, asked if there was anything special they were looking for.
Mm-hmm. What happened then?
Well, then he saw what was happening.
Saw the guns, and he tried to throw the guys out. I don't know why he did it. Andy's like that. He gets an idea in his head, and there isn't anything that'll shake it loose. He tied into those two guys, almost had him whipped, too, even with the guns. The guy that was with me saw what was going on and yelled back at him, told him not to shoot. He ran back and laid his gun alongside Andy's head. Clouded him right along in here. Mm-hmm. Andy dropped like a sack of potatoes, and the three guys ran out of the store.
How much money did they get, you know?
I hadn't finished up with the bank statement yet. I'd just be guessing, but I'd say about $8,000. Might run to 8.5, but that's about it.
I see. Now, if you could just give us a description of the men.
All three of them?
If you could, yeah.
The one who was with me must have been about 5'11", kind of dark complected, had straight black hair.
What color were his eyes?
Brown.
You have any marks or scars you could see?
No.
Clean shaven?
Yeah, I had a real dark beard. Looked kind of like he had some kind of talcum powder on.
Do you remember how he was dressed?
Let's see. A dark blue suit, gray top coat, gray hat.
Was he wearing a tie, do you know?
Yeah, a gray tie with maroon stripes. You know, kind of diagonal, a thin tie.
Anything unusual about him? Make it easier for us to identify him?
No, I don't think so.
How about the gun he was carrying? What kind was it?
I couldn't see the name.
No, so I mean, was it an automatic or revolver?
Oh, an automatic. Looked like a big caliber, I'd say 45. One of the other fellows had a revolver, but the guy with me and the small one had automatics.
You know if they drove a car?
Well, if they did, I didn't see it. Might have had it parked right out in front for all I know. I told you I was busy when they came in. When they left, I was too worried about Andy to pay any attention to him. The way they hit him, a terrible thing, right along here. Oh, excuse me a minute. I got some aspirin here in the drawer.
Yes, sir.
Sure hope Andy's going to be all right. We've been together a long time. Can't get over that little guy, the one who hit me. I should have taken him. But the big one, he's tough looking, a real fighter.
Well, it isn't going to help much.
Huh?
He's going to lose this one. We got the descriptions of the other two men, and the supplementary local broadcast was gotten out. The two officers who'd answered the call found a woman in the neighborhood who'd seen three men leave the vicinity immediately after the robbery. She said that she was parked in a car half a block from the store on the same side of the street. She explained that about 9:20 a.m., a car had pulled into a parking place in front of her. She'd seen three men leave the car and walk down the sidewalk in the direction of the Lockton Market. About 10 minutes later, the men came back to the car. They appeared to be in a hurry. One of the men was upset and arguing with the other two. She told the officers that they'd gotten into the car and driven off toward Hollywood Boulevard. We asked her to describe the three men. The description she gave us matched the one we'd gotten of the thieves. She gave us a description of the car, and another supplementary broadcast was put out. We asked her to come down to City Hall to go through the mug books to see if she could give us a positive identification. The report from Georgia Street Receiving Hospital indicated that the victim of the slugging, Andrew Rich, was suffering from a fractured jaw and a concussion. He was given emergency treatment and removed to the county hospital. The crime lab crew came out and they went over the store for physical evidence. They were able to lift 3 partial fingerprints from the counter next to the cash register. Dean Bergman and Leighton Prince explained that the partials were not enough for identification, but that if we apprehended the holdup men, he'd be able to tell us if they'd left the impressions. 10:27 a.m. We took the victim, Clifford Hall, and the woman who'd seen the car to the mug room. They went through the mug books, but they were unable to come up with an identification. We had the stats office make a run on the M.O. They came back with a list of 17 names of men who at one time or another had used the same method of operation. The list was split, and Sergeants Meade and Leitner worked with us in checking the names out. Thursday, 3:48 p.m. Frank and I got to the 6th name on our list.
Jerry Evanston, that right?
Yeah.
Sure dark in this hall. They ought to wash the windows, let some light in.
Yeah, here we are.
Might not be in.
Yeah, we'll try it again. Now let's talk to the manager.
Yeah.
Yeah? Who is it?
Manager, we want to see you a minute.
Just a minute. What do you want? I was asleep.
Come on, Evanston, open up.
Yeah, we can get out of here.
Police officer. Come on. Watch it, Joe.
All right.
All right, come on, Evanston, get up.
What are you doing, clean? Look, you got no right to come busting in here like this.
Yeah, you're so clean. What are you putting that trouble for?
I got scared, that's all. I just got scared. How'd you feel if somebody woke you up and then shoves their way into your room? You ain't going to stand around and just let them do it.
He's clean, Joe.
I told you that. Look, I got no trouble. I don't want none. You check with Galloway. He'll tell you. I'm home every night at 9 o'clock, every night.
Where were you this morning?
Huh?
This morning, where were you?
What time?
You just tell us what you did, starting when you got up.
I was up all night. I got a virus or something. I couldn't sleep. Take a look there in the dresser. You can see the stuff I've been taking. I haven't been out of this room, not for a couple of days.
Can you prove that?
Why?
Can you?
No, there wasn't anybody here.
You get any phone calls?
No. I don't know what this is all about, but you guys are leaning on me for nothing. Now, you talk to Galloway. He'll tell you I've been working. Well, look here, I'll show you.
Where you going?
I just want to show you something I got in the drawer.
Well, you stay right there. I'll get it for you.
Okay, I got nothing to hide. Take a look in the top drawer there, left-hand side.
Yeah. These what you mean?
Yeah, that's it. I'll take the rubber band off and look. You'll see I'm telling you the truth. Now, you see? It's all the check receipts I've gotten from where I work. You look at them. I'm working every day, and I'm home at night, 9 o'clock every night.
How about it, Joe?
Yeah.
Now, you see?
You haven't been out of this room all day, huh?
Not a minute. Now, come on, what's all this about anyway? What are you guys after?
We figured maybe you could tell us.
Yeah? Oh, I'm sorry. Without you telling me what you want, there's nothing I can give you.
You see any of the boys anymore?
You mean the fellas I knew before I fell?
That's right.
Not if I can help it. I'm trying to stay away from them.
See any of them lately?
Yeah. Saw Alex a couple of days ago.
Alex?
Yeah. Alex Finley. I knew him when I was up in Q. He came in where I was working.
Did you talk to him at all?
I just said hello. Passed a couple of minutes talking about some of the guys we knew.
See in the rackets now?
I don't know.
Is he on parole?
Yeah, I think so.
Did he give you anything?
Oh, a couple of rumbles, but if I turn them over to you, I don't want a credit for them. You don't know where you got them.
All right.
Alex tells me there's a gang that's going to start working here in town, market jobs.
How many men?
Well, from what Alex says, there's 4, all heavy guys.
Finley with him?
No, I don't think so. He told it to me that he just heard it.
Did he say anything about who the 4 men are?
No, I don't think he knew. He just said they were heavy and they were starting to work.
You know where we can get in touch with Alex?
No. Well, you might check with Galloway at the parole office. He might have it.
Yeah, we will.
I'll probably see him again. I'll try to get the information if I can. Well, what does you want to know? Who the guys are?
That's right.
Okay. Now, like I told you, though, I don't want any credit for it. I'm in real trouble if it gets around that I'm playing footsie with you.
Yeah, sure.
I'll try to find out when they're going to start working, too.
Well, don't you worry about that.
Huh?
We already know that. 4:10 p.m. We got in touch with Fred Galloway at the state adult parole offices, and we checked on Jerry Evanston. From what the record showed, the story Evanston had told us was true. His parole officer had reported him working and apparently living up to the conditions of his release. We left him one of our cards and asked him to call us in the event he heard from Alex Finley. 4:21 p.m. We checked back into the office, and we met with Sergeants Meade and Leitner. They told us that they'd checked out the names on their half of the list without result. We sent a teletype up to George Brett in CII Sacramento, giving him the description of the holdup men and listing the M.O. that they'd used. We asked him to run the information through their files and forward any information they came up with. 5:19 p.m. We went out to get something to eat, and then we checked back into the office.
Good dinner, huh, Joe?
Yeah, I never saw a guy could eat so many enchiladas as you.
Yeah, I can't help it. I get started on them, can't seem to stop.
Yeah.
You got any soda in your locker?
No, you got trouble again?
You know I always do when we have enchiladas.
You ought to remember that when you order a half a dozen.
I suppose so.
Yeah, I get it. Robbery Friday, yeah. When was that? You're pretty sure, are they? Has the lab been called yet? Yep. Okay. Right, thanks. Oh, that's a break.
Yeah?
They just found the getaway car. 6:47 p.m. We left the office and drove out to where the car had been found. It was parked on Lockwood Avenue, 5 blocks from the market that had been robbed. The radio car officers who'd spotted it had called the office immediately when they saw a brown paper bag in the back seat bearing the printed name, Lockton Market. A crew from Leighton Prince came out and went over the car. They were able to come up with a single print from a man's index finger. Bergman compared it with the partials found at the market. They matched. We checked the white slip in the car and found that the vehicle was stolen. The report on it had been filed at 10:37 a.m. that morning. We talked with the people in the immediate vicinity, but none of them were able to tell us anything about the people who'd parked the car. However, we did come up with an elderly man who told us that he'd seen 3 men get into another car at about 9:45 that morning. He said that he remembered it because the driver of the car had pulled into a parking space and stopped the motor. Another automobile had parked directly in front of the car, and the driver of the first machine had moved so that there was no one in front of him. The man went on to say that a few minutes after the driver pulled into the second parking place, 3 men had come around the corner, gotten into the car, and the 4 of them had driven off. The witness was unable to give us a description of the car other than to say that it was a late model Plymouth or Ford. The only description he could give us of the men was that one of them was large and was wearing a gray topcoat and a hat, and that one of them was small. 8:40 p.m. Frank and I went back to the office and checked out for the night. The following morning at 8:02 a.m., I checked back in for work.
Hi, Joe.
Morning. Kind of cold out.
Yeah.
You look happy this morning.
I didn't sleep a wink last night, Joe, not a wink.
What's the matter?
Stomach. Next time I even think about eating enchiladas, stop me, will you, Joe?
Yeah, sure. Any mail come in?
I don't know. I just got in.
There's an ad here from that store over on West 6th. They're having their annual sale.
Yeah? I want to try to get over there. I'd like to get me a new suit for Christmas.
Yeah, there's a special delivery from Brereton.
Huh.
Probably those mugs we asked for. I'll see. Yeah, there's 6 of them. You want to get in touch with Cliff Hall? You can drive over and have him take a look at them.
Yeah. You got any other pictures?
Yeah, we can mix them up.
I'll call Hall.
Okay.
I sure hope we get an ident. We haven't got much to go on.
Well, there's got to be a break someplace. We got to find it.
From what Finley said about the gang starting up operation, doesn't sound like just one job.
No.
They start on a string, they can do a lot of damage.
Well, it doesn't give us much choice, does it?
No.
We got to give it to them. 8:27 a.m. Frank and I left the office and drove over to talk to the victim, Cliff Hall. We showed him the mug shots George Brereton had sent us. He picked one out and said that he was positive that the man in the picture was the one who'd held him up. The name on the mug shot was Harold Bishop. According to the record Brereton had sent us, Bishop had been convicted twice on violation of 211 PC, armed robbery. 9:20 a.m. We drove over to the county hospital and showed the pictures to the other victim, Andrew Rich. He picked the mug shot of Bishop as the suspect who'd robbed and beaten him. The notation on Bishop's picture gave us the information that he was on parole at the time. We returned to the office and put in a call to Fred Galloway at the State Adult Parole Office. Yeah, Fred, this is Joe Friday. Mm-hmm. Yeah, fine. We'd like some information on a Harold Bishop. San Francisco number 82609. 26, that's right. Male, white, Caucasian. We got a mug from Brereton. No, he says he's on parole. Yeah, if you will. Thanks a lot. He's checking the master file now.
Meade and Leitner are standing by if we need them.
When we get this address, we're going to have to move fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, Fred. When was that? Well, how's his report there? I see. No, I don't know. Yeah, I suppose. Right, Fred. Thank you. Well, you can tell Meade and Leitner to relax. Bishop's got an out-of-state parole. He's living over in Phoenix.
Well, he still could be getting into California.
No, not likely.
Huh?
Fred checked with his parole officer.
Yeah.
He's got a job, and he's been reporting to his parole officer every month. We asked Fred Galloway at the state parole office to contact Bishop's parole officer in Phoenix and check him closely. The report came back that the suspect had a job with a small contractor and that he'd been working regularly. He'd also been giving monthly reports to his officer. We'd had a suspect identified by 2 of his victims, and yet if the information we'd gotten was correct, it would have been a physical impossibility for him to have committed the robbery. We got a copy of his jacket and looked over his past record. We found that Bishop had been arrested for armed robbery the first time 18 years previously. He'd been brought to trial and acquitted. The next arrest was 10 months after his trial. He'd been convicted and served 6 years at San Quentin. He'd been released, and within 6 months, Bishop had been picked up again. This time he was sent to Folsom Penitentiary. While he was there, he appeared to be a model prisoner, and after serving 4.5 years, he'd been placed on parole. After leaving the prison, he'd requested and he'd been granted an out-of-state leave. In checking Bishop's M.O., we found that it matched exactly that of the thieves who'd held up the Lockton market. The time of approach was the same. The number of men used was the same. The method of leaving the scene was exact. We had a suspect, and yet he couldn't have committed the crime. 3 weeks passed. On Saturday, November 26th, the thieves hit again. In checking with the victims, they identified the mugshot of Bishop. We put in a long-distance call to the Phoenix Police Department and asked them to check on the suspect. We got word back that he was in their city. They told us that he wasn't at work due to a virus infection. They went on to say that they checked with his landlady and that she told them that Bishop hadn't left his apartment at all on the day of the theft. Monday, November 28th, we got our first break in the case.
I'll get it. Robbery, Smith. Yeah. Oh, yeah, Jerry. Uh-huh. You sure about that? Where? Uh-huh. How about the rest of them? Yeah, just a minute. Toss me that pad, will you?
Yeah, here you go.
Okay, Jerry. Go ahead. Yeah. Mm-hmm. How do you spell that? L-A? L-E-A-H-Y? Uh-huh, I got it. Mm-hmm. You know the address? Yeah. Okay, thanks, Jerry. We'll get in touch with you. Right. Jerry Evanson, remember the guy we talked to over on South 7th?
Yeah.
Well, the way he tells it, we aren't too far off.
How do you mean?
He saw Bishop in town last Saturday.
We put in a call, and we found that there were 2 major airlines with flights to Phoenix. The flight time they listed was 1 hour and 35 minutes by air. If Bishop caught the last flight leaving Phoenix, he could arrive in Los Angeles at 11:20 p.m., the night before he planned to commit a robbery. The next day after the holdup, he could catch a plane from the Los Angeles International Airport that would have him back in Phoenix at 8:25 p.m. By doing this, he would be absent from his work only 1 day, and he could schedule his flights so as not to hit on the days when he had an interview with his parole officer. Tuesday, November 29th, a meeting was held in Chief Thad Brown's office. It was decided to put a special stakeout on the airport and wait for the suspect to come into town. At that time, he'd be followed and taken into custody as he prepared to commit another robbery. The names of the 3 other men Jerry Evanson had given Frank as having been involved in the holdups had been checked through R&I. All 3 of them had arrest records. Surveillances were placed on their homes, and they were kept under constant watch. Monday, December 12th, 11:15 p.m. Frank and I relieved the stakeout at the airport.
There's a bench over there. We can keep all the gates in view.
Yeah.
Wonder when he's going to hit again.
I don't know. The last couple of weeks have sure dragged by, haven't they?
Yeah. Anything on the other 3 guys?
Well, I talked to Pinky Meade this morning. He and Leitner staked out at Leahy's apartment.
How they doing?
Nothing. They parked in the car down the street. From what they say, Leahy's like a clock. He comes in at 5 a.m., leaves at 9 p.m. every day. You got a cigarette?
Yeah. Here you go.
Thanks.
Joe.
Yeah. Bishop. Let's let him get outside.
Yeah. Wonder if he's got any luggage.
Well, they bring it up outside. We can wait for him there. Now, come on.
You see him?
Yeah, there he is. Getting into that cab. Come on. Frank and I got in our car and followed the cab taken by the suspect. We followed him out of the airport grounds and then up La Brea Avenue. The cab turned right on Washington Boulevard and headed for downtown Los Angeles. We pulled up to a stoplight.
Still got him?
Yeah, he's still up ahead in front of that blue Mercury. See him?
Yeah. You got the number of the cab?
Mm-hmm. 2974.
There's the light.
All right, let's go. Better try to pick it up a little, Frank. Cab's pulling away from us.
Yeah. Think he's seen us?
No. Can't you close in a little?
Traffic's too heavy. Can't use a siren. We'll trip him.
Yeah.
Still see him?
Yeah. There's a break. Guy ahead's making a right turn. Now we're right behind the cab.
Yeah. I'll close in now.
Good. Watch it, Frank. That guy pulling out of the alley.
Hold on.
As we drove down the street after the stoplight had changed, the car had failed to make a boulevard stop coming out of an alley, and we'd hit it broadside. The damage done to both cars was considerable, and we'd lost our suspect. Frank got to a phone and called the office. He gave them the number of the cab that Bishop was in and asked for a traffic investigation car. The office started a search for the missing suspect. Lieutenant Jack Smyers told us to proceed to the apartment of Tom Leahy to wait for further development. In the meantime, a citywide broadcast went out carrying the description of Bishop and the other 3 men involved in the theft. Frank and I arrived at the apartment, and we relieved Meade and Leitner. We had the manager of the place let us into Leahy's room. We waited. 1:30 a.m., 2:30, 4 o'clock, 5:30 a.m. Frank and I had been on duty for over 21 hours. At 5:45, the phone in the apartment rang once, and then it quit. That was the arranged signal between us and the office. Frank put in the call. Lieutenant Smyers told us that officers Max Herman and Ed Benson were on the way out to relieve us. 15 minutes later, we heard somebody in the hall.
Joe?
Yeah, probably Benson and Herman.
Yeah.
I'll get it.
Watch it,
Look
Joe.
out, give it up, Bishop.
You all right, Joe?
Yeah, come on.
He's going upstairs.
Making for the roof. Come on.
See him?
No. You want to take that side?
Right.
Watch it.
Behind the elevator shaft, Joe.
Yeah, I see him.
Get away from me, cop.
You're in trouble, Bishop. Don't build any more for yourself.
I got nothing to lose. They nail me again. I'll be up at the joint for life. Don't cost no more to kill you.
There's no way off this roof, Bishop. Throw that gun out here and you follow it.
You're out of your mind, cop.
Give it up, Bishop. Now, come on, throw that gun out.
I'm going out, cop. You try to stop me, I'll blow your head off.
You all right, Joe?
Yeah.
How is he?
Now, I better call an ambulance.
Yeah. What's that fill out of his pocket?
Wait a minute. Something he'll never use.
Yeah?
Airplane ticket to Phoenix.
Albert Martin Kruger, Harold Nelson Bishop, Thomas Nagel Leahy, and Charles Everett Lee were taken into custody and brought to trial for 2 counts of robbery in the first degree. They were convicted and received sentence as prescribed by law. Robbery in the first degree is punishable by imprisonment in the state penitentiary for a period of not less than 5 years. Because of his previous record, Thomas Nagel Leahy was given the maximum sentence and is now serving life imprisonment in the state penitentiary, Folsom, California.
Dragnet is a presentation of the United States Armed Forces Radio Service.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Dragnet is brought to you by Chesterfield, made by Liggett & Myers, first major tobacco company to give you a complete line of quality cigarettes.
You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to burglary detail. In the past 2 months, a thief has broken into 18 markets. There's no lead to his whereabouts, no clue to his identity. Your job? Get him. Friends, stage and screen star Paul Douglas is featured on the Chesterfield Poster of the Month that's up all over town. Here's what Paul Douglas says about Chesterfields. Quote, "I've been smoking Chesterfield for 22 years. They're best for me. If you try them, you'll find they're best for you." Unquote. You know why Chesterfields are best for you? Because they're low in nicotine, highest in quality. And, of course, Chesterfields are really mild, really satisfying. Try them yourself today. Smoke America's most popular two-way cigarette, Chesterfield. Regular and king size. Best for you.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Monday, December 14th. It was cold in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of burglary detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Captain Bernard. My name's Friday. We were on our way out of the office, and it was 8:05 a.m. when we got to Georgia Street Juvenile Bureau. Sergeant Lindsay Simmons' office.
Yeah? Well, did you give it to him? Uh-huh. Yeah. What'd he say? Yeah. When'd he come back? Uh-huh. Well, did he have it for you? Yeah. Well, that'll teach you not to go that route anymore. All right, Patrick, tell the sergeant to call me when he gets back. Right. Oh, hi, Friday Smith.
Oh, hi, Lindsay.
Morning, Sergeant. Just talking to Gene Patrick over at Highland Park. You know him?
Yeah, I met him a couple of times.
Picked up a youngster a couple of days ago on suspicion of burglary. Brought him into the office, and Patrick talked to him.
Yeah.
Well, he finally bought it that the kid didn't have anything to do with the theft, so he told him to go home.
Uh-huh.
Kid told Gene he didn't have the money to get home, so Gene gave him 20 cents. Kid swore he'd come in and pay it back.
Did he?
Yeah, he came in this morning, gave Patrick 2 dimes. Told him thanks for believing the story.
Mm-hmm.
Then Patrick got the kicker. Kid really did break into a house last night to get the money.
Well, what's Patrick got to say about that?
Says the kid's honest in a sort of way. He did pay him back.
Where's the youngster now?
Got him over Highland Park Juvenile.
I better call Gene. Maybe I can give him a hand. I got a couple of streetcar tokens I won't be using. Might like to have them. Huh?
Oh, hold it. If I was you, I don't think I'd bring it up to him for a couple of days. Well, what can I do for you two?
Well, Lindsay, we've been working on a string of burglaries. You maybe got the word on them.
Well, I don't think so. What's the story?
Bunch of store burglaries. Papers that tagged them the milk bottle jobs.
Oh, yeah. It seems Hartgrove was telling me something about them the other day. Where do we come in?
Well, the way the jobs look, we've been thinking that maybe they belong in your department instead of ours.
How do you figure that?
First off, the milk thing.
What do you mean?
Every job he's pulled, we found an empty milk bottle on the counter.
Okay, what's that prove?
Well, milk and kids go together.
Sure, so do milk and ulcers. Maybe a thief's got the bull horrors when he gets into the store.
No, Lindsay, there's another thing. The way he prowls the places. All he takes is petty cash. Just a couple of bucks outside. Candy, cigarettes, nothing big. Some of the places he's gone into, you could open the safe with a pocket knife. And he hasn't even made a move toward him.
Maybe he's a kleptomaniac. Got a lot of them on the books. Maybe that's the way he gets his kicks.
Oh, it's a nice try, Lindsay. If you know anybody that can climb through a 14 by 10-inch hole, you trot him up and we'll talk to him.
Okay, I haven't got the names on my desk, but you take a trip to Santa Anita, you'll meet a lot of them. Jockeys. You guys know we'll go along with you on this thing, anything we can do, but until we're sure that there's a juvenile involved, there's nothing we can do. Anything turns up, we'll be sure to turn it over to you.
Well, look, we're not trying to palm this thing off on you, Lindsay. We've had the stats office make so many runs on small adults that the cards are wearing out. It just seems that none of the leads we've been chasing come out anywhere. We figured that maybe you could come up with some answers for us.
Well, it's a new one on me, Joe, this milk bet. I've heard of a couple of thieves that went for it, but I can't name you a juvenile offhand. I'll pass the word around the day watch, see what they can come up with. I'll leave a note for Hartgrove. He can pass it on the night watch.
Well, appreciate anything you can do.
No trouble. Been running you ragged on this, huh?
It's pretty rough. It's just that we can't seem to be able to come up with anything that adds.
Yeah. Oh, excuse me.
Yeah.
Georgia Street Juvenile, Sergeant Simmons. Yeah. Yeah, they're here. Which one? Okay, hang on. For you, Joe, your office.
Thank you. Friday coming. Yeah. Right away. What's the address? Uh-huh. Yeah. No, I got it. We'll leave right away. Who? Yeah, call him. Thanks. Well, come on, let's go. The milk bottle kid, he hit again. The call had come from Lieutenant Ginder in burglary. He told us that he'd just gotten a call from a storekeeper named Monty Darabertis. The man had called to report a burglary at his store at the corner of Jackson and Broadway Streets. Lieutenant Ginder told us that the crime lab had been notified and had dispatched a crew to investigate the premises for physical evidence. Frank and I left Georgia Street Juvenile, and we drove over to Figueroa. Then we turned over onto Broadway. The store that had been broken into was a small Italian delicatessen on the southeast corner. By the time we got there, the crime lab crew had already arrived and was winding up their investigation. We walked into the place, and we met with Ray Pinker.
Hi, Joe. Frank.
Ray?
Hi, Ray.
How's it going?
Usual thing. Bottle of milk on the counter. You want to check it over?
Yeah.
Come on back here. Thief made his entrance back here at the rear of the store. There it is. Broke out the window pane.
Yeah, not very big, huh?
It measures 9.5 by 12 3/4.
No alarm on the window, huh?
Yeah, you can see the wires here. Take a look.
Oh, yeah. How come the alarm didn't go off?
I talked to the owner. He said he's had trouble with the alarm system the last couple of weeks. Called the company and asked them to fix it.
Mm-hmm.
He thought it was okay. Guess there's something wrong someplace. Didn't work last night.
What kind of alarm was it, Ray?
Outside on the building. You know the kind.
Yeah.
What did he take this time, Ray?
Usual run of stuff. According to the owner, there are about 4 cartons of cigarettes missing, several boxes of candy. Can't be absolutely sure. So he's got to check his stock. Be better if you talk to him on that.
Yeah, we will. We'll catch him later.
Want to wait a minute? I'll check and see how the boys are doing on the prints. Have them check the counter and the milk bottle.
Fine, thanks, Ray.
Be right back.
Right.
I don't wonder when we're going to blow the whistle on this guy.
I don't know. Can't do it fast enough for me.
Well, I'm with you.
Hey, Joe. Look at this. Yeah, I'd like to get a couple of those before we leave.
What are you talking about?
Salami, Joe. Those right there, the hard Italian kind. See, right there?
Yeah.
I remember last summer I was up in San Francisco.
Yeah, I remember.
Went up there to pick up a prisoner. Remember you were collecting days off?
Yeah, I recall. I had 100 of them coming.
Yeah, pretty funny. Anyway, I met Dan Shelley up there.
You mean the Irish tenor?
Yeah, he and I went down to Cookie's bar for lunch. Cookie had some of this salami. Sliced it like paper. You could almost read through it.
Oh, that's the way it's supposed to be.
I know, Joe. Anyway, Cookie sliced up a bunch of it, served it with cold cracked crab. Boy, I never tasted anything so good in my life.
Yeah, don't you ever read the newspaper through sliced salami?
Yeah? Well, I never have. Have you?
All the time.
Just the funnies. Well, anyway, Faye's tried to find them for me. Salami like this, Brought home all kind of things, but she's never found the right kind. You know, they'd be hard enough to pound tacks with when she got them home. Oh, I never forget old Cookie and that spread.
Well, if you can get your mind off food for a minute, and I know that'll be tough, let's get on with this thing, Joe.
Yeah. Sure got to buy some of these before we leave. Just like Cookie had.
Yeah.
Just finished with powder, Joe.
Yeah.
Nothing. Whoever it was drank the milk. He took the bottle out of the refrigeration compartment. Bottle sweated, and there isn't a print on it we can lift.
That's too bad. None of them any place, huh?
Yeah, we've gone over the place from top to bottom. Till there, we can't find them.
Well, that's not much help, is it?
Came up with one thing. Maybe you can make something out of it.
What's that?
Outside the window in the back parking lot. Came up with an open package of cigarettes. Don't know if it belonged to the thief.
Anything on it?
No. Fog last night ruined any prints that were on it. Boys have got it if you want it.
Yeah. Well, we'll take a look at it. Looks like everything's against us, huh? Another blank.
Don't envy you guys trying to break this one. Most of the time there's a leak someplace. Somewhere along the line the guy's going to make a mistake and not cover something.
Yeah, we've been saying that for weeks.
This is either the smartest thief I've ever seen or the luckiest. What's this make for him?
Number 19.
A lot of chances to take for nothing. He's not getting anything out of the jobs.
Maybe he isn't, but we are.
What?
Headaches. 9:38 a.m. We talked to the victim. He told us that as near as he could figure, there was approximately $4 stolen from the store. He went on to say that he'd ascertained that 5 cartons of cigarettes and several boxes of candy bars were taken. He was unable to tell us if any other merchandise was taken until he'd made a complete inventory. He went on to tell us that there was over $600 in the safe, but that as far as he could tell, there'd been no attempt to break into it. We made a canvass of the neighborhood and talked with the neighbors. None of them recalled having seen any suspicious people in the neighborhood the night before. None of them had seen any suspicious automobiles in the area. The one thing that was apparent was that the thief was working in a definite pattern. He worked only on Friday and Saturday nights, always between 8 p.m. and 12 midnight. Frank and I met with Captain Bernard, and it was decided that we would maintain a rolling stakeout in the area in which the suspect operated. 4 other cars from Metro Reserves were assigned to work with us. For the next 5 nights, we worked without results. It was slow and tedious, but considering the lack of information on the thief, it was the only way we had left. We had to be on or near the scene when the thief struck again. Saturday night, December 19th, Frank and I met and drove out to the area. The streets were crowded with early Christmas shoppers.
I'll sure be glad when it's over.
Why? What's the matter?
How many rooms in your apartment, Joe?
3. You know that. You've been there.
Yeah. No, there won't be enough room.
What are you talking about?
Faye?
What's Faye got to do with this?
Hack, Joe. Real hack.
Why? What's the matter?
I got up this morning. I felt great. Faye's got breakfast on the table. All nice. A couple of eggs, little pig sausages. Nice, you know.
Yeah.
I come down to the table. She's got food on, and I hit her with it.
What, the food?
No, Joe. I hit her with what I'm about to tell her. I tell her I'm going to have to work tonight.
Mm-hmm. You've worked every night this week. What's wrong with that?
Well, that's the way I figure it, so I got a way out.
You have, huh?
Mm-hmm. Today is Faye's birthday.
Well, you didn't tell me.
It's not good to tell people, Joe.
Oh, it isn't?
No. Faye's over 30.
Yeah. I kind of figured that.
Don't you get it?
I'm sorry, pal. You left me a couple of blocks back on this one.
Look, Faye...
I may never catch up.
Faye's over 30, Joe. She's getting to the point where she's taken off years, see? How can you give a person a last birthday present?
Yeah.
I tell you about it. You're going to give her a present. Only now instead of 30, she's 29. You understand?
Well, to be perfectly honest with you, no. But as long as you do, it's perfectly all right with me.
Yeah.
What about this morning?
Well, I told her I was going to have to go to work. I got this present for her. Brand new deep fat fryer. Real good.
What?
All wrapped up. Deep fat fryer. All wrapped up with ribbon. Beautiful. Shiny. Beautiful.
So you gave it to her. Did it do any good?
Not a pound. You know what she does with it?
Well, at this point, I wouldn't even want to guess.
I'm serious, Joe. This may mean the end of my home.
Go ahead.
She doesn't even open it. Just puts it in the closet on the back porch. Doesn't even pull the paper apart to peek at what's in it. Real mad, Joe. She may not let me back in the house tonight.
Well, you can apologize when you get home.
I don't know, Joe. Faye's pretty sore. Didn't even open the present. Not even a peek, huh?
Listen.
Yeah. Tell where it's coming from?
Yeah, sounds like up on 7th. Come on. Yeah, right here. Pull up.
Come on. I'll take the front.
All right. Hey, hold it up there. Police officer, stop or I'll shoot. Frank, he's coming around your way.
Okay.
Take it easy.
You go ahead and shoot. Come on and kill me. Go ahead, shoot me. It doesn't matter anymore. Go
Everything
on.
all right? Yeah. Just a kid, Joe.
I see.
What are you doing in the store, son?
What do you think I'm doing?
He asked you a question, son.
Pretty stupid. What do you think I was doing?
How many stores you broken into, son?
Figure it out for yourself.
Look, what do you got a chip on your shoulder
You're
for?
big guys. Don't give me a lot of conversation. Do what you want to do.
All right, boy, you called it. Come on. 11:50 p.m. We called the office and told them that we had a subject in custody and that we were taking him to Georgia Street Juvenile Bureau. We put the boy in our car and we waited until a radio car arrived. We asked the officers to notify the owner of the store and stand by until he got there. We also asked that they make a 459 report. 11:55 p.m. We started to take the youngster to the Juvenile Bureau. What's your name, son?
What difference does it make?
Acting like that isn't going to help you.
You guys picked me up, remember? You worry about it. I got nothing to be afraid of.
Oh, yes, you have, boy. You could have been shot back there.
Maybe you should have pulled the trigger.
Look, son, what's the matter with you? Why are you acting like this? You just got real lucky back there. That's the only reason you're alive now. It was dark in there. As far as I could tell, you were an adult. You didn't stop when I told you to. Now, according to the book, I could have shot you. You know that, don't you?
Killing the kid. That'd make you a big man.
No, I'm just bringing it up to prove a point.
Save it.
Now, look, son. I'm going to tell you something. When you break into a place at night, you're not a kid anymore. You're asking for trouble. You got both your pockets full of it. The way you work tonight makes us think you're mixed up in a lot more thefts than just tonight.
That right?
You ever been arrested before?
No.
Never been in trouble with the law, huh?
Sure. I'm a real criminal. I got a ticket once for riding my bike through a boulevard stop. Radio car stopped me and tagged me. Big deal. But they're going to send me to San Quentin. Maybe you can give me the gas chamber.
How old are you?
What difference does that make?
How old are you?
You figure.
All right, you look like you're about 11 to me.
That's what everybody thinks. I'll be 15 my next birthday.
Don't kid us, son.
It's the truth, 15. That's what I'll be, 15.
When were you born?
1939, November 2nd.
You're small for your age, aren't you?
Why do you say that?
Aren't you?
It's got nothing to do with it, nothing at all. I can do anything any other kid can do. Anything. Don't you forget that.
What's the matter with you? Is that a sore point with you?
Huh?
Your size, is that a sore point?
There's nothing wrong with my size. Doctor says that I'm all right. Just that some people aren't meant to be as big as others, that's all. There's nothing wrong with me.
No, come on, son. What's your name? Now, look, you know we're going to find out.
How are you going to find out?
We will. Now, why don't you save us all a lot of time and tell us the truth here?
Be better if you did.
If I do tell you. You going to put it in the papers?
What?
I tell you, there are going to be a lot of reporters around. My name going to get in the papers?
Not from us.
Can't tell you then.
You mean if there's no reporters around, you aren't going to tell us your name? Is that it?
That's the way it is.
It's kind of funny, isn't it?
Maybe that's the way it looks to you.
Where do you live?
Can't tell you that either.
But you got things all wrong, son. It isn't what you want to tell us. That's got nothing to do with this. You're going to tell us what we want to know sooner or later.
Where are we going?
Georgia Street.
That's where the jail is.
Why do you ask that?
Because I want to know.
Yeah, there's a jail there.
Reporters?
What?
They're going to be reporters there.
What is this thing with reporters and you? What's this all about?
Reporters put your name in the papers, don't they?
Sometimes.
Well, you get the reporters all lined up. You get them from all the papers. You have them there, and I'll tell you all about it, the whole story. You just get the reporters and the photographers. Be sure about them, because I want some pictures, too.
Well, look, let me get this straight.
What?
You say you aren't going to give us any information without the press being there. Is that right?
That's the way it's going to be.
Well, you got it wrong, boy.
What?
Doesn't make any difference who's there. You're going to come around.
Yeah.
We'll find out.
You are listening to Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action.
Smokers by the thousands are now changing to Chesterfield because they're learning the facts about Chesterfield. Facts like these.
A doctor has been examining Chesterfield smokers for 20 months, almost 2 full years now. We've just received his latest report, and it confirms again no adverse effects to the nose, throat, and sinuses from smoking Chesterfield.
That's a matter of record. And so is this. Chesterfield is the only cigarette proved highest in quality, low in nicotine. Those are the facts about Chesterfield. More good reasons why Chesterfields taste so good, smoke so much milder. How about it, friends? Smoke America's most popular two-way cigarette, Chesterfield. Regular and king size. Best for you.
12:10 a.m. We got to Georgia Street Juvenile Bureau. Frank pulled the car into the side alley, and we took the subject out of the back seat.
Up this way, son.
It's a seedy-looking place.
Yeah, well, it's been here a long time.
Looks like a set out of a picture.
Don't you worry about it, huh? You want to take him down the hall, Frank? I'll check with Hargrove.
Yeah, come on, boy.
Hi, Friday. Working kind of late, aren't you?
Yeah, we are.
I got the note from Simmons on the milk burglaries. Checked around the night watch. Nothing on it, so I didn't call you.
I don't think you have to worry about it. I think we got the answer.
Yeah?
We just picked up a kid. We got him dead to rights in the market. Open bottle of milk right next to the cash register.
Where is he now?
Frank's got him down the hall.
You think he's your boy?
Yeah, looks like it. Everything adds up. The entrance, what he tried to take, the milk. All along it seems to fit.
You got that kind of a case. What are you worrying about?
Just two things.
Yeah?
Who he is and why he did it.
He won't tell you?
No. He's got some big thing working about the press. Says he won't give us anything without reporters being there.
Makes it rough, Joe. You know the policy.
Yeah, I do. He won't let us help him.
If he wants publicity, take me down. Introduce me as a reporter.
Well, it might do it.
Won't do any harm to try. Let's go.
Go ahead.
Thanks. Who am I going to be?
Well, tell him you're Sid Hughes from the Mirror, huh?
Yeah, might as well be one of the good ones.
Son, you wanted to talk to somebody from the papers. It's against the policy, but we swung it for you. This is Sid Hughes from the Mirror.
Hi.
You the fellow that held that guy on the phone in Baltimore?
Yeah.
Great. I read all about it. You gonna write me up like that?
I hope not, son. There were 2 men killed in that operation.
I read all the stories. Everybody did. That's how I mean for you to write me up, with a picture.
What makes you think you got it coming? You break into one store and try to steal a couple of cartons of cigarettes. That doesn't make the first page.
One store? I got into 19 of them. 19 before they caught me. That's important, isn't it? That's a story.
I don't know. Might be.
A couple of things we better get straightened out here. First off, what's your name?
Better get your notebook out. Be able to take all this down.
Don't worry about it, son. You just answer the questions. I'll get it.
Yeah. Okay. My name's Elroy Graham. That's ELROYGRAHAM.
Yeah. How old are you?
I told you once, almost 15.
You said you'd broken into 19 stores. Is that right?
Yeah, 19. Might have made it more, but something went wrong tonight. Had trouble with the burglar alarm. Thought I'd turned it off. Bad mistake. He's still working if it wasn't for that. Guess it only takes one, though, huh, Mr. Hughes?
Yeah, I guess so.
You want to tell us why you did it?
What?
You had to have a reason for committing these robberies. You want to tell us what it was?
Sure. Good reason. Real good.
All right, tell us.
Well, you see, I always had trouble at school. Never seemed to quite make it. All the guys liked me. They all did. All the girls do, too. Got girls calling me almost every night asking me to take them to dances, stuff like that. I don't go much for stuff like that. You can understand, can't you, Mr. Hughes?
Go ahead, Elroy.
Well, they wanted me for all the teams, football, basketball. All the time asking me to play. But I figure if you want to get ahead in the world, you got to have an aim. Someplace where you want to get. Figure out that. Work for it and you're going to get there. Don't you find that true, Mr. Hughes?
Go ahead.
That's the way it was with me. All the time turned down offers to be on some team. Telling some girl that I couldn't take her to a dance. Just didn't have the time. Somehow I just couldn't make it. You can understand it. You've been around. You know all the successful kind of people. You write something and a lot of people read it. You know what I mean. Don't you? Well, what's the matter? Something wrong? I'm trying to tell you what happened. I'm giving it to you straight. What's the matter?
Now you want to tell us the truth, Elroy.
What?
I don't know why you're trying to sell us this line, boy. It isn't necessary. I don't know why you did what you did, but I do know you had a reason for it. Now, that's all we want to know, just the reason.
You don't believe me?
Afraid not.
How about you?
No, son, I don't.
Mr. Hughes?
No.
Can't even lie right. Can't even tell a lie good. All my life I've been trying to be like other kids. All the time getting beat up, getting left out of things. You know why? Do you know?
Go ahead, son.
Big reason. Biggest reason in the world. Because I'm almost 15 years old. I'm 4 feet 7 inches tall. 4 feet 7. Weight 97 pounds. That ain't very big, not big enough. All the time, other kids shoving you around. All the time you're the joke. Gets to the time when you figure it's easy to laugh, too. Because if you don't, some kid's going to beat you up. Gets to the point where you don't care anymore. I used to clip out those coupons and send them in. Get the books back on how to build myself up. Worked at it. Didn't do nothing for me. I was still 4 feet 7 and weighed 97 pounds. All the stuff I took didn't do no good. Still came out 4'7", 97 pounds.
All right, son. You want to tell us about the burglaries?
I did it to be big, that's why. I had the things other people wanted, cigarettes, candy, the other things kids wanted. I had all that stuff that the other kids wanted. Made me important. Don't you see that? You gotta understand it, Mr. Hughes. That's why I wanted my picture in the paper. That's why I wanted the story. So the kids would know that I'd done something big. So they know.
All right, son. It's going to be all right here.
No, it isn't. Like everything else I tried to do, I loused it up. I didn't mean to steal, but it was the only thing to do. The only way I had.
Now, wasn't there some other?
No, there wasn't. All the time the other kids laughing. All the time talking. I just couldn't stand it anymore. I just couldn't.
Here you go.
Thanks. You can understand it, can't you? It makes sense.
What's that, son?
Wasn't so much the kids saying I was little.
Yeah.
But I didn't want them to think I was small.
"12:36 a.m. We contacted the parents of the Graham boy and asked them to come down to the station. We talked to them for an hour and tried to fill them in. In view of the fact that the parents of the subject were responsible persons, the boy was booked for violation of Section 459 PC, delinquent, and he was released to his parents pending his hearing in juvenile court. 5 days passed, and we heard nothing from the boy. On December 24th, Frank and I checked into the office.
Friday?
Yeah, Earl?
Kid in the back wants to see you and Smith.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, Mr. Friday.
Oh, hello, Elroy. What can we do for you?
Well, I guess you think it's kind of funny.
What's that?
I want to tell you that I sure think it's good what you did for me. Helped me with that burglary thing the other night.
Well, it isn't over yet, son. The court still has to make a decision on it.
Yeah. But what you did to make me feel better. As far as I'm concerned, whatever the judge decides, I'll go along with it. I had a long talk with my folks. So we got it all talked out. All the way talked out.
Well, that's good, son.
We're glad of it, son.
Maybe you guys won't like it. I mean, me knowing you such a short time and all. But I wanted to bring you these. Merry Christmas.
Oh, that's awful nice of you, Elroy, but it isn't necessary.
I want to give them to you anyway. For what you did for me.
Well, that's mighty nice of you, all right. Sure appreciate it.
A couple of packages of cigarettes. Hope they're the kind you smoke.
Yeah, son, they'll be fine.
Thanks, son.
Well, see you guys around, huh?
Yeah, sure, son.
Just one more thing, Sergeant.
Yeah, son?
Just thought you'd like to know.
Yeah, what's that?
I didn't steal those.
The story you have just heard is true. The names were changed to protect the innocent.
On the 21st of December, a petition was filed in juvenile court on behalf of the subject. On January 26th, trial was held in Department 52 of Juvenile Court, State of California, in and for the County of Los Angeles. In a moment, the results of that trial.
Now, here is our star, Jack Webb.
Thank you, George Fenneman. Friends, Thanksgiving is traditionally a time when families and friends get together. And I'd like to make this suggestion. Tomorrow, get a couple of cartons of Chesterfields. You'll be all set for Thanksgiving and the weekend. We know you, your family, and guests are sure to enjoy America's most popular two-way cigarette. Chesterfield, regular and king size. Best for you.
Elroy Merton Graham appeared before the juvenile court where he admitted the alleged burglaries. At this time, under the counsel of the judge of the juvenile court, the subject was placed under the care of the probation department for a period of 3 years, with the provision that his parents take him to a competent psychiatrist.
Ladies and gentlemen, don't forget your letter carrier when he makes a special trip to call on you for muscular dystrophy. Reach in your pocket. Give for muscular dystrophy.
You have just heard Dragnet, a series of authentic cases from official files. Technical advice comes from the Office of Chief of Police W.H. Parker, Los Angeles Police Department. Technical advisors, Captain Jack Donahoe, Sergeant Marty Wynn, Sergeant Vance Brasher. Heard tonight were Ben Alexander, Jack Crucian, Olin Soule, Sammy Ogg. Script by John Robinson. Music by Walter Schumann. Hal Gibney speaking.
Watch an entirely new Dragnet case history each week on your local NBC television station. Please check your newspaper for the day and time. Chesterfield has brought you Dragnet, transcribed from Los Angeles.
Have you tried new cork tip Fatima? It's the smooth smoke with Fatima tips of perfect cork, king size for longer filtering, and Fatima quality for a much better flavor and aroma. Fatima is made and guaranteed by Liggett & Myers Tobacco Company. Try Fatima today.
Hear Merrill Muller and the news next on the NBC Radio Network.